Champs, we're here. How you feeling? This whole season just pissed away. 27 points up. What do you want to say, man? I'm fired up.
I suppose of all things you would have hoped we had learnt this year is to fucking not piss up a lead like that. And it happened against the Doggies. It happened against Fremantle. It nearly happened against Carlton. And it gets the best of us tonight.
Yep. Yeah, I was watching it with one of the mates and I was just saying, he's like, bro, you guys got this in the bag. I'm like, nah, I don't believe it. We're going to choke this, or not choke this, but they are going to come back and we're either just going to win or they're going to win just, right? And not one thought in that fourth quarter, I was thinking, yeah, we've got this in the bag, right? Like, I just knew they were going to come back. I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to hold on. And look, man, we didn't hold on today, and that's pretty much it for the season. We played 3.5 good quarters, and I thought we played very well. Then we just kind of dropped off. I felt like our mids really started to worry about not winning the ball and worrying about what Sydney was doing in movements, and they really got on top of us. And look, there was some real sketchy calls as well, but at the end of the day, you can only control what you control, and we shouldn't allow Sydney get on top of us, and that situation even happening, even with the deliberate out of bounds, which were a bit sus. You could argue Coxie's one. I can see merit in that being called deliberate. But then Darcy Moore one, you could clearly see he was trying to keep that in bounds. And yeah, that was a bit of frustration. Might have hit the table a little bit too hard, champs. But hey, we move.
If you want to share your thoughts, jump in the fan cams as usual. This will be another therapy session by the sounds of it, by the feel of it. I'm lost. I'm pretty much lost for words. I feel like I'm just, that's the season, right?
Yeah, we're fucked. We're done. We're then now going to listen to the fucking press conference afterwards, and then Fly McRae is going to talk in riddles, and might as well dress up with question marks and call him the fucking Riddler because he won't answer any questions directly. So it isn't what it is. We'll move on. Hopefully results go away, but I don't know if there is a world that we make it in. I don't think it's possible.
No, it's done. It's done. It's finished.
It's done. So, it is what it is, man.
We're going to get Manny Dacos in first. Manny, are you ready?
No one in the AdSense, huh?
All right. Manny, floor's yours as soon as you come in, man. He's ready, man. He's fucking... All right. Go.
Hello, mate. That fucking hurts, man. That fucking hurts tonight. Oh, tonight hurt me bad, bro. Fucking hurt me bad, man. Oh, come on, man. I can't believe this. We're up by 30 points, man. 30 points. They scored 6 goals all fucking game. Last quarter, they scored fucking 5 goals on us. It happened last week as well. We scored the first goal, right? And then we can't score again. It's more to the story now. It must be coaching. They're parking the bus too early. Sonny's not right. You can't blame the umpires. Fuck the umpires, right? We're up by 30 points. The 14-minute mark, right, of the last quarter, we're up by 30 points, right? We got absolutely smashed. The tags, they stopped tagging the players. They're running free, right? No accountability, right? Nothing. I don't know what the fuck happened, mate. You can't be losing a game, right, of football in AFL when you're up by 30 points, right, and get run over like that.
What have we learned?
You told me, well, what? Huh?
What have we learned? What have we learned? I thought we were over this, man.
What's happened, mate? Look at the way we ended our season. If we won this game tonight, we could have catapulted. We could have launched into the finals, mate. Look how we ended the season. It happened last week as well, boys. We're lucky. Yeah. We're lucky McGovern missed the kick. If McGovern scored that goal, it would have been the same as this week. And I've noticed the last couple of weeks, right? Lepage Let pitches in the boundary, on the boundary line behind the crate, right? And Bolton's gone into the coach's box up the top, right? And for the last few weeks, right, we've been parking the bus, right? I don't know what the fuck they did in the last quarter. We had that game. It was an unlosable game. I had a cigarette 3/4 time, right? And I was waiting to celebrate, right? And then when we kicked the first goals again, we're done. We got him. And then the floodgates opened. It all went to shit. So there's something going on. That there's an instruction in that last quarter, right? And they've told them to do something, right? I'm telling you now, or you can see it from a mile away. You can't do that many weeks in a fucking row.
Yeah, one thing I noticed was our mid group really start to focus in that last quarter or last half of that quarter in particular on what the Sydney mids were doing. In the first 3.5 quarters, we were reading the tap and then trying to win the ball first thing first. And I felt like in that last half to, pretty much last quarter, we really focused on what the Sydney mids were doing. And there was a fucking example about 10 minutes to go. Jack Chris was so engaged with his player that Sydney ended up getting free, one of the mids, and then they ended up catapulting the ball forward and they ended up scoring from that. And that's when it really was really fucking obvious to me that we're just really caring too much on what they're doing. It's been working for the last 3 quarters of us just winning the fucking midfield battle, and then we went away from it, and then they just got on top of us, and then a game's full of momentum, and they got momentum, and they just fucking killed us, regardless of what the umpires did towards the end of the game. It should have never been in that situation. I think for me, where if I want to point out a point where the downfall was, is when Lockie Schultz missed that goal I think it might have been the 3rd quarter. I said that would have been the sealer. I reckon that would have been. We missed
heaps of shots.
I just narrowed it down to that point. I know it's pretty fresh. You probably can't blame one moment, but for me, that would be the moment where I said we could have iced the game then. And then I just felt like every time he got the ball in that last, he was the one to break the play down. He was just a little bit too slow to give the handball, not quick enough to give the kick. Got fucking chased down, gave a shit fucking handball. We traded a top 10 pick for what? He just doesn't. He's a good player. He doesn't fit in. Like he has a couple of good games, but I don't know, man. I'm just fucking spewing.
Boys. The moral to the story is this, right? We're up by 30 points, right? We kicked the first goal in the last quarter again, right? Now that stage there, right? We're supposed to bury him. You're supposed to fucking bury him. You need to score again, right? Like last week, Jamie Elliott kicked the first goal, right? They parked the bus again. There's some instruction going out by the coaches, right, to park the bus and hold on, right? As soon as we've done that, they come for us, right? As soon as we saw him coming for us, right, we should have adjusted quickly, right, and taken the game on again. We weren't kicking the ball off the ground forward, nothing. They stopped. It's a coaching instruction, bro. It happens too often. You know what I mean? You can see it, bro. I knew as soon as they kicked a couple quick goals, right? I knew because, right? You know how I knew it changed is because after the first quarter, we up in the first quarter, right? In the second quarter, they come out, right, and they banged 3 goals on us. Remember? After they banged 3 goals on us in the second quarter, what did we do? We banged on another 2, and we stopped the momentum straight away. We were still in that fucking kill mode, right? The last quarter, we parked the bus again, and it cost us our season. You can't park the bus in AFL footy, mate. You've got to keep playing it out to the fucking end. You can't finish the season like this, mate.
It's all up here,
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's all up here, mate. And we need to shed our skin in the off season because that submissiveness in the last quarters, particularly, there were years gone by where we win those games and we see it out, but it needs to change. It's so psychological. It's not even funny.
Like last week, all right. Last quarter, they're winning the centre clearances, right? You got Cox in the forward line. He's being wasted because the ball's not going down there, right? Get Cox in the middle to bash the ball forward and get out of the fucking circle. Get Cox in it to smash the ball forward. You've got Cameron in there, right? And the ball's dropping down, and they're roving the fucking tap, right? Cox is useless. If they're winning the clearances, Cox is useless in the full on because the ball's not getting down there. So get Cox in the middle, right? And get him to smash the ball even sideways towards the wing, right? And you know what? Why are they playing Josh Stakos in the fucking back in the back line for now? He's a winger. What they got him half back for? You got half backers. You got Payne and you got fucking Noble. Why are you moving this?
Yeah, me and Anthony like the halfback four.
I agree
with everything else.
Yeah, I agree with everything else, Manny, but I reckon Dacos is unbelievably clean below his knees and was probably one of our top 5 performers today. But they're trying to use Josh Dacos, right, in the Nick Dacos role. Josh is in the run and carry bloke, right? That's what they're trying to do now. They're trying to use Josh as a Nick Dacos role in halfback, right? Josh is in the run and carry bloke. He's a grab, collect, and he kicks or he handballs. He doesn't run and carry and break lines. You know what I mean? So they're mucking around with it. Oh, I must admit, Longy, great game from Longy, right? Bytel, good game from Bytel. So at least we've got a few fucking players coming up. You know what I mean? But this last quarter bullshit needs to stop. Something's got to happen. You can't keep doing this, mate. It happens so often. Why does Lockie Schultz always look scared? What's with his face? Why do he always look scared for?
What do you mean?
He just looks worried. Lockie Schultz. He looks like someone's going to creep up on him and do something. I don't know what that's about. It just embodied the last quarter. That's all.
It looked a bit panicky in the last quarter. It looked a bit panicky. Yeah, a bit. They got on the boot too quickly. You know what it is? Hey, the pressure compounds, right, and they start making mistakes. Yeah, you know what I mean? The pressure starts compounding because they're getting momentum, right? These cunts have been playing shit for the fucking last fucking 5 weeks there. We had them. And also in the first quarter, we were fucking slow. When we come out in the first quarter, the first bounce, I said, what the fuck's going on here? They banged on a couple goals on us, right? We looked fucking timid. We looked timid in the first quarter. Then we started getting our game going, right? And we fucking put goals on them. And then again, the last quarter, so there's a problem going on. I've worked it out. There's a problem going on, right? Because Carlton last week in the first quarter, if they kick straight, they would have buried us. They missed fucking 8 shots on goal. So I'm noticing now, right, our first quarters and our last quarters are fucking shit. Our second and third quarters, right, are our good quarters. So what the fuck's going on? It's always our second and third quarters that we play good football. How come they can't come out from the start and start fucking playing footy? And the most important quarters are the fucking first ones and the last one. But this last quarter tonight was exactly like last week. It was exactly the fucking same. First goal of the quarter, we're up by 30 points, and we get fucking run over. They're exactly the same fucking quarter.
They beat us.
You got McRae. You got McRae. As soon as they kick the last goal and they're in front by fucking 3 points, you got the coach McRae sitting there, walking around, doesn't know what's going on. Tell him to fucking move and to hunt. Ella.
Dibba, this guy needs to relax. We played so well tonight. 6-goal better side. That's rubbish. Dibba, I'm sorry. That's rubbish.
Hey, well relaxed, dickhead. Well relaxed, dickhead.
It's rubbish.
Well relaxed, buddy. It's AFL football. It's not fucking Auskick. It's called the Premiership Cup. Yeah, well relaxed, buddy. You kidding me? Rather play good. Hey, listen.
Let him know, Manny. Let him know.
Hey, when a boxer goes into a fight, if he boxes good for fucking 1-2 rounds and gets fucking knocked out in the third, right? This is his coach says, "Oh, well done, man. Well done, man. You landed 3 good jabs in the first fucking 2 rounds and you got knocked the fuck out." Huh? We're playing for our season tonight. You can't end the season like this.
Brother, it's the Collingwood
talk too much shit. Hey, you know what the problem is? Cancel all this fucking social media. They know fuck all about footy, right? They all talk too much shit. I'm telling you right now. I'll give you the big fucking tip. You can't be losing games of football there, right? by 30 points up in the last quarter when you're an AFL fucking team, especially the Premiers. We've got experience as well, bro. We've got experience on the fucking park as well. And I know, I guarantee you, Anthony's fucking filthy. Anthony's brother's fucking filthy. And Champs is fucking filthy as well. I know he's a fucking filthy. Deep down inside, he's a fucking peeking about this loss. It's unacceptable.
I genuinely wanted to throw up at the side.
And let me talk these fucking dumb YouTubers, right? That listen on YouTube, right? You know, let me tell you, let me explain something to these people so they learn something.
The lights.
The Undertaker, man. The Undertaker's about to come on.
Now, let me explain something. Let me explain something to these people that don't understand something. Now, do you know who owns the Collingwood Football Club?
So again, sorry.
Who owns the Collingwood Football Club? Who is the owner?
You tell me.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know?
No.
Exactly. I own the club, you own the club, and you own the club. We own the club. The members of the Collingwood Football Club own the club. It's put down as a company, yes. But the owners of the Collingwood Football Club, right, are the members. Do you understand? Every Melbourne club in Melbourne, every AFL club in Melbourne is owned by the members. Gold Coast GWS is owned by the AFL, right? The two Perth teams are owned by the Western Australian Football League, right? And same with the fucking sample in South Australia. Now listen.
Champ, Manny, one second. Just the people in the chat calling this guy an idiot, get him off. If you don't like it, you can leave. You can leave. This is passion, and people can exude and display passion in different ways. If you don't like him, you know where the door is.
All right. Hey, don't worry about those puppets. I know fuck all about footy. I can tell you right now, they're full of shit. Don't know nothing about footy. I've been watching footy for 40 years. I know football. Anyway, we own the club, right? We pay our membership. We own the club. You know who the players are? You know who we are to the players? We're their boss. We pay their wages. They work for us. You know that, don't you? The players work for us. We pay their wages. Without the members, there's no football club. We own the football club, right? We pay the players, right? They can't be going out there in the third quarter like that, right? And play that kind of football. We own the football club. We're not fans. We're their boss. And don't be all these fucking pussies. Yeah.
Now you go. Finish off.
Don't be all these pussies talking shit on the fucking chat, right? They know fuck all about footy. I know for a fact they do. You got a bloke, Pommy, a bloke from England called Pommy that knows more about football than most of these fucking creamers. Trust me, right? And I've got connections on fucking on the YouTube channels with all the boys. These cunts are pretenders, right? End of the day, it's unacceptable for us to lose games of footy like that, right? And everyone fucking knows it. What are we supposed to do, boys? Are we supposed to praise them, right? That we got fucking run over by fucking Sydney? Or what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to sit there and give them the fucking participation award. Right, well done, boys. Oh, yeah. It's AFL fucking footy. It's not fucking Oz kick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's no participation awards here, man.
Exactly. Manny, pleasure.
Yeah, look, man, look, there's a lot of passion. You said a lot of things that are fucking correct. Obviously, you're a die-hard fan. You can't argue that. And what you're saying is we're 30 points up. You can't blame the umpires, up to the players. And we just went to water when we needed the most with the season on the line. So look,
you know what the problem? You know what the problem? You know what the problem is with the Collingwood Football Club fans, the ones in chat. You know what they are, right? They protect themselves. They don't want to get hurt, right? Let me tell you something. Real Collingwood fans, right, are the ones that have got fucking bulls, right? That's who the club fucking needs. All these cunts on chat, right? Oh, we'll do better next time. They played well. Let's scrub their fucking asses. Mate, if you went to Victoria Park years ago when Collingwood was playing, these cunts in chat, they would have called their mummies to pick them up at the side gate. They'll be that fucking petrified. Are you fucking kidding me? Right? All these new age little fucking chatters on fucking YouTube. They're fucking kidding me or what? Sit there talking shit.
real fans reside in Victoria and don't live in Sydney. So, anyways, Manny, we've got to keep it moving. We love you. And what do, man? We just
I don't live, I don't live in Sydney, dickhead. You know where I live? South Australia, you dumb cunt. Hey, a football state, you fucking imbecile. And I'm a fucking 40-year member. Hey, I bet you're not a member, dickhead. Are you a member? Yeah, you're a fucking part-time member. I'm a 40-year member. I've given fucking 45 grand to this club, dumb cunt. You fucking imbecile. You fucking pussy. I come to South Australia. You wouldn't even walk in. Hey, you wouldn't even walk through the border, you pussy. You pussy. Hey,
Manny,
I
love you. Hey, we're gonna get blocked, man.
I love you, Manny. I love you. See you next time. Love you.
Oh, yeah.
Love you.
Yeah. Got some fucking testicles, mate. Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. Mick Ali, you ready? Mick Sucker, ready? All right.
Yeah, he's good. Mick,
Hey,
let's go follow, man. Huh?
how do you compete with that? How do you compete with Manny? I reckon I know about 10 guys exactly like Manny.
How you feeling?
Look, I'm gutted, but at the same time, mate, we lost this season back on that Gold Coast game. I reckon that just killed us, and from then on, it's just been fucking chasing our tails, mate. You know, all the injuries are just, But having said that, I agree with everything that Manny said, man. That game plan's fucked, man. Look, the 2 years before, we perfected killing the game off. Yeah, we still gave up big leads, but we managed to like kill the game right at the end. Yeah, with the stoppages and all that. I remember a few games like against Melbourne and all that. You know, we just killed the game, but this year it's just not there, mate. I don't know if it's the personnel that we're missing that were good at that, but most of them are still there, and that's just how it is. And I really would love for one of these fucking journos to really press McRae on what's going on with these last quarter fucking fade outs, man, because he's really got to answer to us. As Manny said, mate, you know, we're the members, you know. I get my membership every year, and I don't even go to that many games. I still get my membership, and something's got to be said to the fans, mate. Like, we got to know what's going on, man. We're up by, 4 or 5 goals at the end. Why are we coughing up these leads all the time? You know, it's just.
Hopefully, we get the press conference on the website before this stream ends, and we can all watch it together. Because I'd be really intrigued to see how Fly approaches this. How did you interpret? Because I know you're getting into it now, but how do you interpret that last quarter?
It's just the same old shit. I remember, like, even when we went like 26 points up or whatever it was, I just said to my wife, I go, I bet you this ends up a fucking another nail biter. Like, you can just, you just see the whole team change their the way they go about things, and it's just And everyone's complaining about the umpires, but come on, man. Look, when you're fucking playing defensive, you invite all these shit umpire decisions against you because you're second to the ball and you're struggling to defensively, and it just invites shit umpiring against you. You know, it's just
James,
we shouldn't even be talking about the umps. You know, it's the same shit against Rio, against Carlton. Yeah.
What fucks with me the most tonight, and I'm sure many of you will resonate, is for 5 minutes I was thinking, fuck, how sweet is this? We actually might make finals. We're going to overcome the odds and get to somewhere where we didn't think was possible. And then 5 minutes later, season's over. That's what fucks with my mind the most right now.
Yeah. I remember thinking, side bottom, I'm thinking, all right, he's having a great game as he does every 4 weeks. It's like he can play a couple of years. Now, forget it, mate. Hang up the boots, man. You had a good game, but, mate, it wasn't good enough. And positives. What positives? You can't. There's no positives out of this game, even though I can name some, but it's just a really bad feeling. But
Yeah,
what do you do, man? We suffer every year, and I hate saying. You know what? I hate saying, "Oh, at least we won a flag last year." That shouldn't be good enough. Yeah, great teams. Lee Matthews said it, mate. Great teams fucking smash teams. And if we were a great team, we would have turned that fucking three-quarter lead into a fucking 50-point win, man, if we were a great team. But we're not, mate. Great teams don't fucking park the bus with fucking 15 minutes to go, man.
yeah.
They don't
Yeah.
park the
I don't
bus.
know.
They
For me,
they put the foot down and just absolutely fucking smash teams. That's what great teams do. And it's kind of disheartening because I reckon we've got some very talented players, man. Bobby Hill, yeah. Nick Dacos, yeah. Josh Dacos. We've got talent, man. And we shouldn't be, McRae shouldn't be instructing these players to not express themselves that way, to play defensive with fucking 15 minutes to go, man. Fuck, you got to be fucking 6-7 goals up. You got to be with 10 minutes to go before you start thinking about that fucking defensive shit, man.
This is the thing, Mick, right? If you're that far in front, is there a need for you to switch to being defensive? Shouldn't you just back what you've been doing the last 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters, that got you to the point of being 6 to 7 goals up, and just keep running with it? Not once have I ever played footy and I'm 30, 40 points up in the fucking last quarter, and my coach goes, "Hey boys, let's slow it down and make it congested." That only happens when you're only 10, 12 points up, if it's really within 2 goals, right? Then slow it down. 3 goals max, right? We were 5 goals up at one point, and we've decided to play defensive and really worry about winning the ball and focusing on the Sydney mids, and then it just went to Qatar, just went to shit from there, man.
I will say in that last quarter, I feel like a lot of their goals came from centre bounce, like directly from that. So while there were times where we slowed down, there were times of excellence from Sydney, Chad Warner, Isaac Heaney, Goulden out of the middle, where it was 1-2 kicks, mark, goal, opportunistic. It's a bit of both. It's just shit, man. It's just shit.
Yeah. Well, what else can I say, man?
Mick, have you heard of the? I was going to ask you, Mick. Have you heard of the rebirth of the eagle? Do you know the eagle story? It's a good metaphor for where we're at right now. So the eagle reaches a certain age. Yeah. So if anyone in the chat, they reach the age of 40, the eagle, their beak is not as sharp, their feathers are tethered, washed, and then have a decision. They go to the mountaintop, they hide away for 4 months, which is Collingwood's off-season / pre-season. They break away their beak on a tree, their feathers, they get they like reshed them and grow them back, and they come back revivified. I feel like that's where Collingwood's at right now, to bounce back and extend their longevity of where we're at.
Yeah, hopefully we do a Geelong. What Geelong did, they they had a gap year where they just fucking and they've come back this year and they might contend. But it'll be interesting to see if we for the last couple of games, even though it's mathematically possible still to make it, but we're not going to make it. He should still just fucking play the kids, man. Fuck the mathematical.
It's done.
Just put some of the young boys in, mate. McInnes had a good game today. Apparently, I didn't see it, but apparently he did well in defence and in midfield. And we've got to let this kid shine, mate. He's talented, Put him in and
shine. I wouldn't mind seeing Ilary Smith maybe just have one AFL game with the remaining 2 to go as well. Been tearing it up, a lot of hit outs to advantage as well against like Pitternet against Carlton as well. AFL caliber ruckman, like might as well just get him in because we got to bleed the youth in at some time, and you might as well do it when the season's over. So yeah, agree with some of you guys in the chat and with you, Mick, as well. Like, hey, let's try get some AFL games on guys that are ready as well.
Yeah.
Do we have anyone that's ready? Do we have anyone that is good as the youth that North have, that Gold Coast have, Adelaide have, Hawthorn have, Fremantle? I just don't think our fringe depth players are nowhere near there. But that's just me being the pessimist, I guess.
Well, that's
you don't
that's what I say to when I'm talking with other supporters, and they're all saying, "Oh, look at our kids." It's like, hold on a second, buddy. Fuck, mate. We're Collingwood, mate. We go for it every year. We don't fucking tank for fucking 5 years so we can accumulate all the best kids in the country, mate. We're contending every year, not like you fucking North Melbourne cunts, fucking handouts from the AFL, and we just. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're up there again next year, mate. But I would love to see just a change of mentality in our game plan from McRae, because if we have to go through this shit like fucking, parking the bus in last quarters fucking next year as well. Fuck, but he's got to know that it doesn't work, man. It doesn't fucking work. We have to admit that we got a bit lucky last year, man. Fuck, mate. We won the last fucking 3 games by less than a kick, man. Any of those games could have gone against us, mate. Please, man, no more parking the bus. That's all I ask from McRae. Thanks for the flag, but fuck, man, we're a big club, mate. One flag's not good enough. We're gonna create dynasties here, like the big great teams, mate. Enough of this fucking one flag every fucking 20 years, mate. Anyway, that's me. That's my take, and you do a wonderful job. And Caleb, what happened? You didn't get a haircut?
Nah, man, I fucking crashed, man. I went and had a nap, and then I went and got a Palmer at the pub, and then then I rushed back here, man. Fuck, shattered.
Yeah.
But what can you do?
He's not going to give a shit, but. He's not going to give a shit, or no one's going to give a shit. But did you see my soccer team, mate? Heidelberg, mate, got a fantastic win against fucking Central Coast Mariners. I could see by the looks on your faces you couldn't give a fuck, but fuck, that means a lot to me.
Hey, didn't Cannons won as well there, didn't they?
They beat Sydney, in the Doherty Cup, whatever they call it these days. I can't keep up with that shit.
Yeah.
Are you totally disillusioned with soccer now, Anthony?
What is it? Cognitive dissonance. Just fucking, I'm away from it, man. I might be over.
That's the thing with AFL, man. That's the thing with AFL. AFL is the best game in the world, man. It's the best game, and the AFL just don't appreciate it, that we've got the best game in the world, man. It asks a lot from athletic players, and anyway, I'm just rambling on about irrelevant stuff anyway. I'll let you get on to other guys, but thanks a lot. We'll be there next year as well, man. Just, I know it's hard. Keep your chin up. We're Collingwood, mate. We'll be back.
Thanks, Mick. We love you, mate. See you next week.
No worries.
You better be back next week, man. You see me. All right. Anthony, man, you holding back, man? I'm going to keep displaying the comments. Man, he's gone. But quick one before we go on to the next one as well, guys. Posted the URL, so just put that in Google, and then it'll pop up with the prompts, and then you can just be able to join, and we'll just add you in. We go down the line. So look, we'll go into our favorite talking magpie. We'll see what jokes he's got for us today, because I'm fucking gonna need one, champ. What about you?
Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, okay. He doesn't give a fuck. Boomer, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, guys. I tell you what, it was a bit tragic tonight. But on the bright side, I mean, our back-to-back flag hopes have got, the same hope of Donald Trump wearing like an earring on his right ear. So, I mean, that's kind of gone. But it's ironic how just 6 points can change the result. Because, as I've said, you're only ever 3 in a row off a party or a disaster. Had we won tonight, it would have been, Magpies are back. But look, last week I've got to point this out, and you guys in your assessment you did on Monday night, Well, you didn't rate Billy Frampton and Darcy Moore highly as individual characters, but something that I think gets missed in the assessments overall is how the team defence worked. Because last week
we've mentioned that. We've mentioned if team defense fails, it will expose players individually. But at an individual level, I mean, a team of individuals will make up a team. Billy Band-Aid is Billy Band-Aid.
Yeah, well, I kind of see him, I see him a bit more as a Billy the Fireman kind of thing, because he does put out spot fires, but not big ones. He's not a fire truck. He's just a fire extinguisher. But what I feel is the fact that we kept Mackay and Curnow last week down to, well, one goal, and we kept Curnow ended his 60 run. It speaks a lot about
Boomer,
the defence.
I'm gonna have to catch off, Boomer. I don't care about last week. Talk about this week.
Okay, well, what I'm going to get to is, I'm about to get to it. By quarter time, guys, I had torn up fucking IQ's contract and threw it in the bin. Those 2 fucking turnovers, right, dude, we were shit in the first quarter, and I've got to agree, like, Sydney are the slowest starting fucking team for the last 5 weeks, and that's why they've been losing games, because they just haven't been in front. We gave them a chance, saying, go on, fellas, there's something a bit wrong there, and I do think Craig was outcoached tonight. But, look, the thing of it is, they say you shit for 4 quarters, but our running style, it's like a cyclist. You can't get out there and run flat out all race. If you do, the peloton catches you up and you finish fucking 9th or 10th. So our game style now with Cox and with fucking McStay back can differentiate from fast burst footy to tall timber footy. We actually have the flexibility now. And they're like, look, tell us, Cal, Mason Cox, do you like him?
Look, I think he played a good game today. I thought he took the ball at the highest point and competed around the ground. I thought he actually had quite a good game, and his hit out, like he'll win about 45 to 47% of his hit outs, and about 1 every 3 hits out to advantage. So he's actually quite a good secondary ruckman, and when he's a nuisance. If he's not marking the ball in the forward line, he's bringing it down. In the past, I wasn't very. I'll be honest, wasn't the biggest fan of him, but I think him not being in there this year really showed our system is lacking when he's not there as another secondary ruckman, and we don't have that. So that's when I kind of jumped on board. I was like, fuck, I probably didn't appreciate enough of him early on, but this year I've really come to that light. Like, fuck, he's not too bad. So
it's good to say, Kel, that you like big Cox, do you?
I do love him.
Oh, bang.
That's a square up for last week, mate. Listen, I was going to have it beautifully. So be it known that Caleb likes big Cox. We've got it. You heard it here first, guys. But look, the thing I've got to say is Coxie is good up forward, but when he rucks a bit, he doesn't have that like Grundy could ruck and rove, and Grundy tonight did tell him up a bit, I think. But Darcy Cameron's a better ruckman. So when we have Cox up in the forward line with McStay, that's kind of cool. But Darcy Cameron reminds me of the ruck. And tonight, yet again, those fucking intercept marks across the centre and halfback are awesome. He is so good. Yeah. I reckon Darcy Cameron can turn into the Corey McKernan type ruck, where you ruck and balls to the back line, just head back a bit and receive the mark, like McKernan used to do back in the days of Wayne Carey and North Melbourne when they won a flag or two. You have that defensive ruckman who then sets up the halfback play, and that releases Nick Dacos to then swirl around and weave his magic through the centre and gets it goalward. And when you got McStay and Coxie up forward, then it gets good. And of course, when Darcy Cameron has a rest, you throw Mason Cox in just to be nuisance value around the centre ground. But I think Darcy Cameron, guys, wow, what a fucking player. These guys in the chat were bagging him. I saw it last week too. I don't know what games you're watching, guys, because Darcy Cameron, he's really kicking ass for us. Do you think, guys?
No, he's a freak. We've been knocking on the door for All-Australian for him. He's probably one of the ruckmans that doesn't get mentioned enough outside of the Collingwood Army about being an All-Australian year. He's unbelievable. He's been able to intercept mark, and even like lately, him taking a forward kind of entry, like forward half mark as well, actually leading at the ball has been really good. And he slots goals from hard positions as a ruckman.
I know, that was awesome, because you don't expect it. When he gets it, it's a bonus. But here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here, but I reckon you guys might agree. We've got the best Cameron in the fucking league. Like, he's better than Jeremy, and he's better than Charlie right now. I think from a year point of view. What do you think? Would you agree with that? We've got the best Cameron. Or not?
Oh, hard to go past Jeremy Cameron, Boomer.
Really? Yeah, but he hasn't done a lot this year. Like, they're using him everywhere. They're using him like Billy Frampton. they're losing him up
Mm.
forward to bolster the midfield and whatever. But that's Geelong. That's not us. Fuck them. But look, here's the way it goes. At least we're not going to pull off this Phoenix-like season for back-to-back flags. Okay, the season now officially to me has died, but I'm just going to let you know, last week when I saw De Goey strip the hammy and handball it off, I actually thought that's the last one for the year. If he can't come back, I really don't think we've got much hope now, but I didn't. That was my head. But my heart was saying maybe we can hang in there. But now we're just nuisance value. The good thing about it is, though, Carlton are throwing the baby out with the bathwater too. They're fucking shitting themselves. Like even David Rees-Jones said Charlie Curnow is not a good player for big occasions. That's David Rees-Jones. He's a Carlton hardnut. He was a fucking legend for them back in the 80s and 90s. And he's bagging out Charlie Curnow saying he's useless. They cuddle him too much. He needs to fucking be addressed, privately. And I think we have the same. I think Darcy Moore is not like Nick Maxwell. Nick Maxwell, as you know, he said to Ben Reid, you want to play for Collingwood, mate, you can't let these guys beat you. You know what I mean? Like, Nick Maxwell was a real hard-ass captain. He got the job done. And I feel Darcy Moore probably needs to look a bit more about how Nick Maxwell used to captain, because Darcy, look, I don't know, there's something not quite right there. I can't put my finger on it. He's getting better, but he's not like last year. But IQ, mate, I think he needs to run in the Magoos just to smarten him up a little bit or give him some roaster or whatever.
Champs, did you realise? So I thought Quaynor was much better on the wing tonight, but what I've noticed, whether he's playing as a defender or is playing as a winger, he always gets sucked into the stoppage, and that's where Goulden kicked that goal to put them out in front, where Quaynor just got sucked into that stoppage, and then Goulden was pretty much out on his own on his left foot. That's probably something he needs to fix in the off-season.
Last year, he was fleet of foot, and he actually instigated a few comebacks. There were times I remember IQ passages of play started a Magpie resurgence that got us all the way into the grand final and even through the grand final too. So, I mean, IQ last year was brilliant. Shit's happened in the off-season where him and Darcy, look, let's just give a shout-out for Jeremy Howe, because the guy broke his arm last year, kept out, then got us back in, got us into the grand final, and broken ribs in the grand final last year. And yet he's out there again for the last season where you get banged up, and he's still showing true Magpie spirit. Him and Bros are my two favourite players right now just because of what they're showing. But Jack Crisp can usually spread his wings when De Goey's not there. Because I don't know about you know this, but you know when you got a player who's like De Goey, although he's a fucking time bomb, sometimes he can be subject to friendly fire. You know what I mean? Like he can hospital passes. And I feel Jack Crisp isn't sure of himself when De Goey's out there, but when De Goey's not playing, Jack Crisp sort of, okay, I can cut loose. I've got room here. I'm not going to collide with the fucking tank and get killed sort of thing. So, but overall, I'm thinking our tall timber, McStay is starting to look good. And McCox, that's two targets up forward. We've got a shit ton of players who can run on. Yeah, Big Cox, of course. Yeah, who Caleb loves.
Mick Cox says Boomer. Boomer. Finish on something strong for us. We've got a bunch of people waiting to get their 2 cents in. What have you got for us to close the line?
Oh, okay. I thought it would have been a bit quiet tonight after our season dying. Well, look, here's the bottom line. We aren't going to do the finals, but you know what the AFL are going to discover? They're going to be about fucking $20 million short on this year's takings because of us not being in the finals. As long as Carlton or Essendon don't fucking win it and go on to 17, I'll be fucking happy. Go Bulldogs. That's about my pickup from it. So, guys, love your work. I've got a Discord server. If anyone wants to look up the Mighty Magpies Discord server, come and join, and we'll talk some shit in the off-season and organise some games and some watch parties. But anyway, love your work, guys. Yeah, your Ben Reid interview was absolutely fucking awesome, as was your Brody Holland, and I keep loving your work, Anthony Kell. So keep it up, and I hope to fucking have a lot more chats with you.
I do have to clarify. Boom, I love you, appreciate you. I do have to clarify because people get upset in the chat. Brody Holland was on the Swoop Luke YouTube channel. That wasn't us.
Oh, what was he? Oh, sorry. Okay.
That's all right. I just want to clarify because people get upset in the chat.
Oh, all right. We don't want to upset the chat now, do we? Matty's already got them all fucking upset. So it's all right, chat boys. Just don't be dickheads and Matty won't come and beat you up after school. Yeah. All right, guys. Cheers and peace out. Go Pies. And we're on to next year now.
Champ, by the way, just quickly before we add the next person, injury update. So Harrison, potential ACL. Ash Johnson only played a half due to concussion, and Josh Eyre played only 1 quarter. So there's a bit going on in the VFL as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, no good. No good there, champ.
Take your pick, man.
I'll just go down the line. Kev, you ready? Yep. Big thumbs up.
Yep.
There we go. Kev, how are you? Well, he's playing with PS5.
Tough to
Hey,
watch, man.
He's
Tough
running
to
back.
watch.
He's running back the game on AFL 23, trying to right the wrongs.
No, I'm playing.
You know what you got? You got it on rookie mode, and you're versing Sydney, and you're just pumping them at the SCG 200
No,
points.
I'm playing Fortnite. Fuck me, man.
Good game. Good game.
Fuck me. We fucking do this all the fucking time. Even when Mick Moldhouse was coaching, we get him further in front, and they come back and they win. How the fuck do we keep doing this? The umpiring was shit, but some of our decision making, especially in that second quarter as well, like we let them get 3 goals in the second quarter. Yes, we got one back, but the third quarter we killed them, and in the last quarter we fucking stopped.
Yeah, I think it's just like we were talking about with Mick and with Manny. I think it's just like game plan where we kind of go into our show, and I don't know if it's kind of PTSD of because we were in so many close games, or if it's because it's just a coaching message that comes out. But if you're up by that much, you should just continue to play the same footy that we were playing early on that got you to that point, and obviously that didn't happen. And now we're in this situation where the season's all done, and it's just a fucking shit feeling, and I don't know. There's nothing really too positive to come from it.
Because it's annoying because under Buckley we let teams get further in front, and then we try and come back and be in front, and that never works out well. But the same thing, like even under Moldhouse, even though when we've had leads, we've always shit the bed. And it's just like you just got to keep going. You can never stop. 27 points in front, you should realistically win that game. And it's not just like it happens to us. It's happened to every other team. But with us, like we played great football in that third quarter. We got going. It's just like, okay, we can get a couple goals in this last quarter, put them away. And I even talked about it in my preview, like if we get a lead, let's put them to the sword. Do not let them come back. And it fucking happens so many times. And it pisses me off and all the other supporters because, like, you can't just say, oh, but, we played well. It's like, yeah, maybe the third quarter and the first quarter when we had momentum, but that Sydney are going to try and come back. And even when I had 1 or 2 goals Spurs, get a few back yourselves. And that way we can try and get our lead up to where it was. And we just didn't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Did you see any positives out there, Kev? I know we're talking about all doom and gloom. Is there any positives?
I thought Brian McCreary's game was good. His tackling, I thought, was elite.
Pressure, his pressure. How good did it look like when it was so close on bursting out of that clearance and getting that clean breakaway?
Yeah,
you got hold of the middle.
I just think he should have handballed it a little bit.
Yeah.
He had a Collingwood player out on his side, probably could have dished it off a little bit, but
it's hard that one because you ran at such momentum. You want to be I reckon he could have thought he could have probably burst through then and taken on it.
Yeah,
if you burst
probably.
through, that looks
close.
like a very close to doing it. But then you look like an absolute star well. And
he looks so good when he comes into the stoppage, or even from the centre bounce, brother. When he comes storming through, where we've looked slow, he was a real key cog in the wheel to stopping Sydney's run on the outside of the contest because he comes in as that +1, and he just wreaks havoc in a pressure facet that does so much for our midfield.
Because he is a big fella as well in the stoppages as well. He'll push his Sydney player under the ball, which creates space on the outside. And if it does fall short, so if you push someone in, I should explain it. Like I'm here, Bo's here. If he pushes his in, then he's creating space at the back for the ball to get hit, and he can run onto it. All worst cases, the ball falls in that drop zone in front of him. Then Bo's there to fucking wrap up the tackle of the Sydney midfielder. So that's what I mean by pushing someone under. And he does that very well because of his body size. And if the ball gets out the back, he's so explosive. He'll just fucking get the ball out.
I thought McStay and Bobby Hill played really good games as well. McStay got up the ground, took a few good marks as well. There's a few blocking for McStay to lead up and take those marks. Bobby Hill, I thought he was good with his tackling, his pressure. Kicked 2 goals as well. I think Cox kicked the goal as well. Cameron played really well. Nick Dacos worked through a tag, which was great. And I like that we played Sidey in the midfield. He really got going. And, yeah, and again, like, you got to give credit to where Sydney just played well tonight, but we were fucking shit in that last goal. We can't shit the bed like that. We really can't.
Confirmed ACL for Harvey Harrison as well, by the way.
No, I heard that
there's one of our youngsters with heaps of potential, and yeah, tough break.
It's very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate because he's been playing all right footy, hasn't he? Obviously, he shows purple patches of he's up to AFL standard, and you're going to get inconsistencies with a young star. And he was having a spell in the VFL, done the ACL. Hopefully, he can come back and still play at full strength and still have that speed and agility. Sometimes you do an ACL and you lose that little bit of agility, or confidence as well is a big thing as well when you do these type of injuries. So hopefully, good recovery, and we see him in about 8-9 months time.
Yeah. Kev, give us something to finish on a positive note, Kev.
All right, positive. Good to see Cameron playing well. It's good to see that our forward line is starting to gel. Hopefully, we can keep that going the next couple of weeks, and hopefully until the end of the season, and keep that going for next season. No more injuries. We can't afford to have any more injuries.
Yeah, it's difficult sport, isn't it? That's what happens.
Yeah, it is.
Kev, we love you, mate, and just
love you too, guys.
Go Pies, yeah.
Go Pies.
Yeah.
I'll see you next week, mate.
And just to add to Kev's point before we move on, our forward synergies hasn't been an issue all year. It's 59% scores from inside 50 tonight, from 49 inside 50s. It's just the other things around that. So we'll figure it out.
I had a couple good notes, man. Like, I just thought our forward movement was really good. And even if it was the balls on the wing or the high half forward flank, not exactly inside the 50, we'll just chip the ball around and then try and get a better look in there, or just opened up more space to go long down the line. So I thought our forward synergy today was actually very, very good. Even Bo's snap to Lockie Schultz, which is what I'm deeming as the downfall of the game when he misses that. Then the ball goes back down the other end and we get it behind. Then Howe gets the ball out and fucking kicks it to whoever the fuck the Sydney player was. And then that's the point that I'm deeming is where we lost the champs. Not lost it, but that's when I felt like we were so close from icing the game. And then I could just see Champ, we're going up the mountain and we're about to overcome it. But then we slipped on a pebble and we started sliding back down, man. I could just feel the shift of momentum after that. But you want to chuck on the next person, Champs? And
yep. Let's go Mick. Mick with the sick jersey. Mick, how are you, mate?
Hey, not bad, not bad. I mean, can be better. Fuck, man. I mean, we looked good all the way through from the first quarter to the start of the fourth quarter when Ned Long kicked that goal. It wasn't until after that it just started crashing and burning, and it was just a horror show. Like, we just let everything slip after that, and it was really disappointing to see that kind of effort being played out all the way through and just letting it slip. Like, I thought our bad quarter was the first or the second. And I thought, all right, maybe the third, fourth, we'll give it all. We did. For the third, fourth, we just gave it away. So, yeah, that wasn't pleasant to watch. And look, people like Manny and Boomer and Mick as well said it perfectly. I think the team deserves a bit of a spray, to be honest. They need reality to kick in. So, yeah.
Couldn't agree more. And I think we've been barking on the same thing, and everyone coming on has been saying the same thing. It's like I think the boys just need a spray and reality check, but there's no point now. The season's over. The reality check
Season's over, yeah.
After Gold Coast or even before that point.
And it's like you guys said, some of the other people as well, just start playing the young players. The season's over. There's no point trying anymore. So you got to, get the younger players, the future players to play a lot more. I think Ned Long was outstanding in that game. The only positive thing, maybe Bytel. Bytel wasn't too bad. And a few others as well, Bobby Hill as well. But, that was very ugly to watch. It was like one of my roommates, Geelong supporters. They said it was a very boring game. I said, you know what? You probably weren't too far off from that after that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a shitty ass feeling, isn't it? Shitty ass feeling. But what do you do?
The reason I'm still wearing the jersey, or not jersey, just this shirt, is because I still support Collingwood through and through, but I don't want to sound like too optimistic. I don't like that kind of thing. I prefer like that the team just gets in and the coach gives it to them, And I don't think Craig McRae is going to be that kind of person. He's gonna say, yeah, tough luck, wasn't good enough, this and that, but he won't be hard enough on them, I think. Because I think in a way, this is also a good thing that our season is over. In a way, there is a positive out of this, because then we might be hungry next year. That's the thing that I think some people might not be able to see yet. And that's what the media will write us off. They'll be like, oh, last year Collingwood didn't do so well. Finished 9th or even 13th if you want to go off that, or even 14th. And, all of a sudden we could come back next year. So there's that something to look forward to.
I don't know. I'd rather just make the finals. I think, I don't know what the exact amount of years it is or amount of teams, but I know that there hasn't been many sides that have won the premiership other than next year have not played finals. Woody,
Geelong,
if you are
Geelong
in the chat still,
last year.
Yeah, like there's been only a handful of teams that have done that. So
Yeah.
would rather not join that club. That's an exclusive club that I don't want to join. But look, we just booked us off first fucking class tickets all the way to Mykonos, boys.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's a mentality check that needs to be attended to in the off season, and
Everyone's gonna need to be mentally assessed after that.
it's such
I think all the fans will be mentally assessed.
Yeah.
We're fucking heartbroken. My headspace is through the bloody floor at the moment.
It's a roller coaster of emotions. Like at one point, we're talking how good's this? We're 0-3, then we're top 4. Then we lose a run of games, then we're all right. We'll play finals with no double chance, and then we're out of contention, and then we come back 10 minutes to go tonight. We're thinking, all right, well maybe we can make finals from here. There's only 2 games to go, and then 10 minutes later, here we are.
Yeah, here we are.
No good.
And our next game is going to be against Brisbane. So, shit. That's not going to be fun to watch, I think. Especially how they pelted Melbourne, 20 points or something like that. So I'm expecting them to do a demo job against us.
Nick, we've loved having you on the last 2 weeks. Get that jumper on. What do? You just got to stick fat, mate. We love you.
Yeah, always, man. Love you guys too.
Cheers, mate.
Next one, champ.
Next one. Abs, you ready to go?
Yeah, mate. Ready to go.
Perfect.
Hey, guys. How you going?
How are you feeling, Abs?
Yeah, pretty gutted. I mean, they actually played pretty well for 3 quarters. Looked like they were gonna, just do enough to hold on, and then they just stopped. And it was just like a Sydney Avalanche. We just couldn't stop it, and you just saw it. You just saw it coming. Like the crowd got involved. They just had all the momentum. I knew it wasn't going to be like last week where we were going to hold on. I was like, yeah, they're going to win this one. Not good.
No.
I feel like, if we had just gotten smashed by 50 points, it would have been better, because they actually got our hopes up that, hey, look, we might actually win this game and we might actually have a chance at, finals. But then to just take it away from us at the end like that, yeah, it's pretty shattering. Probably not going to get over it right away.
Nah, because there was signs that, like, champ, like we spoke at halftime, we're saying, hey, we're on here. We weren't 100% like confident.
Nah.
I wasn't putting my life savings on we were going to win, but I'm saying we're playing some good footy, some good form that you can see highlights of. Maybe, just maybe, if we get the win here, we can get the win against Brisbane and then just go from there. Take each week as it comes. And we're playing some good fucking footy. You can't deny that. But then
I'm telling you, if we'd won today, we would have beat Brisbane next week, because it's at the MCG and they don't play too well at the MCG. We would have had so much confidence going into that game and momentum. I'm telling you, we would have won. And then we got Melbourne the week after, who was struggling. So yeah, I think we blew it today. Sorry, I know we like to try and stay positive, but it's a bit hard at the moment, I have to admit.
Yeah, no, look, I agree with you. It was hard, man.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say, because it was bugging me all game, because I've stuck up for this guy all year. Lucky Schultz, man. Can he kick 30 meters?
He's too compact. Maybe
he lines up for a shot at goal from 30 meters and he like boots the shit out of it, because it's like he's worried he's not going to make the distance, and that's why he misses. When you go for, when you go for distance instead of accuracy. Yeah, I think that's he does that from like 30 meters.
Yeah.
Or it looks like he does.
Nah,
I don't know, man. And look, I know he's an easy target, but I've actually like stuck up for him a lot over the over the course of the season. But after that, I was just like, come on, man. How are you missing that shot from 30 meters out when we need the goal? You know what I mean? Not good.
No, not good at all.
I'm burning,
yeah,
man.
but
I'm burning, bro.
I know.
Burning.
It's not good, man. We should have won that. It's so un-Collingwood like. Like this whole season has just been like a whole different
There's
team.
an analogy if we like to use is you play with fire long enough, you're gonna get burnt. Right?
Yeah.
Last year we got away with murder.
Yeah.
All those close wins. And then now look, it's coming back and to bite us in the arse, and we've been burnt.
Yeah. But like, I mean, I don't know, man. Like 27 points up with like 15 minutes left. You don't even have to be like the better team for that last 15 minutes, to actually win the game. It's like, for example, if you're in a foot race, right, with someone that's quicker than you, but they give you a 50-meter head start, like you should get to the finish line before them. It's like, what I mean? Unless you're really, really slow. But like, you know what I'm saying? We're 27 points up. Yeah. We should have got to the finish line before them. It's not good enough, man.
There was definitely an element of like stoppage brilliance from them, though. Like fuck Warner and Heaney. Between their key forwards, they kicked 1 goal. It was their midfielders and Hayward that kicked the goals for them in the end.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's annoying that we waited till we got behind, and then we sort of got a bit of urgency, and like we won the next centre clearance. And remember Elliott almost kicked that goal from the boundary. And it's like, where was that 10 minutes ago? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty frustrating.
Man, I've secured us flights. We can head to we head to Japan, man. September 4th,
Japan.
$700 tickets. Let's do it,
Done.
Theo. We're booking it in, man. Therapy
Book it
sessions,
in.
pie footy, live from Tokyo.
Done, man.
Oh,
Why not?
I don't want to be in Melbourne in the off season. I'll come back at round 1, man.
Yeah, same. Especially if Carlton make it. But in saying that, like everyone's gonna jump back on them now that they won a game against the poor Collingwood. But seriously, Sydney is shit. I reckon they'll go out in straight sets.
Yeah. Does it annoy anyone else, right? You go to the pub. Last 2 weeks I've watched it at the pub. And like just fucking everyone hates Collingwood. Like it's Sydney for fuck's sake. It's a Melbourne versus Sydney. It's a Melbourne side versus Sydney. We hate those fucking cunts up there in New South Wales. And everyone in the pub, mate, they're playing pool, these guys. I wanted to pick up the bloody pool stick and whack them across the head. Because I'm like, where's the support for the Melbourne base? I know it's Collingwood, but I'd much rather see a Melbourne based side win than against
They're not even Sydney supporters.
They're 100% not Sydney supporters. You can't tell me 80 people down at the pub today were Sydney supporters. Does my lid in each week, man. I'm about to blow up.
I never go to the pub and watch Carlton versus Sydney and celebrate. I just don't celebrate. I don't celebrate for either team. It doesn't make sense.
It's funny, like opposition supporters hate us more than we hate them.
100%. I could not agree more with that. That's actually, you hit the nail on the head.
You know, like there's a lot of like supporters that like, oh, you know, can't wait to play you guys. Oh, I love beating your team, and I'm just like, I don't give a shit about your team most of the time, unless it's like Carlton, you know, or Essendon. Then but like,
that defeats the purpose of our whole conversation here, Abs. Take that back. It doesn't matter if it's Carlton or Essendon. We don't care.
That's true. But no, I mean, it's like for example, it's like GWS. You know, they're trying to like build a rivalry up with us. It's like, mate, we don't give a shit about GWS. You weren't even in the league fucking 10 years ago.
I mean, actually having a war over the comments section trying to play Woody's comment. Oh man, Abs, agreed. Do you want to sign off with anything? Give us a short, sharp sentence.
We're still reigning premiers. I don't know.
Side by side. That's true.
Side by side, exactly.
Side by side, man. That's it. 2025 flag pies.
Yep. Let's go.
100%.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Abs.
Cheers, Abs.
Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Oh, we did it at the same time.
Oh, man, you're going to control the clicks, so I won't do it, man.
All right, let's go. Sean, how is it? Sean,
hey.
Did I remember correctly?
Yep.
Shawnee.
Yep.
So that's your name. You know, I just been calling you Greatness the whole time.
He's
that's not a bad.
To be fair, I probably would rather Greatness, but yeah.
Greatness. Yeah. How are you, mate?
Yeah, doing all right. Don't really know what much more to add on because I feel like all the guys prior basically said everything I needed to say. I mean, I'm happy to go more like towards like the VFL side of things if we need to do that, but I mean, it's kind of. I mean, tonight was kind of interesting because I did sort of go in thinking that we were going to probably lose. Just because the midfield battle I thought was the most was going to define what was going to happen, and but no, I actually thought our midfield stood up fairly well given what we have done this year. So I was pretty happy with that. Was that sorry?
Until the last quarter.
Besides the last quarter.
Oh yeah. But as a whole, like, and yeah, I know I was in the pre-chat with you guys, and I was talking about side bottom and how. I don't say this with any joy on my face, but I do think that he does need to go because at the end of the day, when you look at all the contracts, and you got to, you can't have all these guys like stay on the list. Like some of the players do have to go, and when you've got Hoskin Elliott, Jeremy Howe, and Pendlebury signing, it's sort of like, the process of elimination sort of probably makes it that probably Sidebottom is the one that has to go.
Yeah.
But even yeah,
your head is well wrapped around our history and our drafts. In the last 10 years, since Darcy Moore, Maynard DeGoey, we've only had top 10 picks in Steve-O and Nick Dacos. How much longer can you stay at the top when you don't have a first round pick inside the top 10? And then to add to that, looking at our youth versus other clubs' youth, is it a I suppose it's a win being up for this long, but then at some point when you're not invested in the draft because you're such a successful team, at some point it's going to come back around. Is now the time next year? Do we see a downfall intermittently?
Personally, I I guess it depends what the definition of a downfall is, whether if it is, because obviously I think at the end of the day, every team wants to be in the top 4, even top 2 and contend for finals. I think we can still even be a team next year where we're still fighting in the 8 for sure. But at the end of the day, yeah, you just got to make the right moves. You don't always need first-round picks. I mean, perfect example is like Geelong. If you actually look at Geelong's history, they've been so successful over the years. And I think, what was it, when they picked up Jai Clark, I want to say it was last year, they didn't have like a first-round pick in like a long time. And if you look at all their picks, especially in their premiership years, most of them are like from like the rookie draft. So especially in the years where I think, what was it, Tom Harley wasn't he? I think he was like playing somewhere in the SANFL or something like that, and he was the captain of the 07 premiership. So at the end of the day, you just have to have the right people in the right positions, and it just eventually works out.
It is an optimistic way to look at it. Like Geelong's a perfect example of how it can work out. But then you got Richmond of 2022. They were the number 1 team in the league for expected score, and a lot of stats favoured and suggested that they were ready to compete again after their dominance in the late 2010s/2020, obviously. They go out, they trade their picks away for Tim Taranto, Jacob Hopper, and co. And then the very next year, after having a great year like Collingwood had last year, a premiership year, they've come back with supposedly a better side, and look where they've ended up. That's where it can go wrong for us, but where it can go right for us is obviously what Geelong have done as well.
Yeah, I mean, but also as well, I mean, I'm probably actually the best person to speak to about this because I was actually the one that actually predicted the downfall of Richmond. And I'm probably, I'm definitely pulling the category for most Richmond fans on Twitter as probably maybe the most hated person. Just because, like I was saying, that, the downfall was coming. Because what was it when they played? Because I just looked at their list and they just didn't have any kids coming through. You also,
do we have kids?
The fact. Yeah, no, I definitely do. I just don't think we play them. And if you're not going to play the kids aren't going to develop. If they don't develop, well, they're obviously not going to fully shine into for an analogy, as if you have to say grow a flower, like you got to water it every day, you got to give it attention, and eventually
who are the kids that we haven't played, in your opinion?
I mean, well, obviously you have TJ and Alan who have played the one game, but obviously one game will not make a career. I thought Harry Demadier had his probably best game for the year because he ended up playing extremely well. He's probably going to take a bit of time for him to get into his primary role, which is probably like an inside mid or just at least a midfielder that's going to be at the centre bounce. But until then, you can at least have him as like a half forward because, in fact, I was speaking to someone today about it. When he was like playing juniors and stuff, he was always, every time he would be in front of goal, he just wouldn't miss during juniors. So that was like something I sort of already knew, but Obviously, the person I spoke to today, like he literally just went out of his way to say like, no, like he did this like a lot more than what people assume, sort of thing. So he's definitely one. Yeah, I think I already said TJ. I've got a bit of a list here. I've been pretty big on
like you're gonna play the kids, right? But then the kids also got to take their opportunity when they come into the side. Like Ned Long today played a really good game, deserves a spot next week. I think TJ is probably not just ready. I know it's one game, but you got to take the opportunities at AFL level and then really tear it up when you go back down into VFL level. Harry Dimatia, I'm very surprised he hasn't played a game yet. I thought he's been racking it up in the VFL. I'd like to see him play one game this year, and I'd like to see Ilaru Smith at least give him the last game of the year. You know, just so he gets at least one game of AFL experience. Gets a taste of
I think history shows. Yeah, well, history shows as well too, because I know we did it in 2017 with Kirby, and there was another year in, I think probably maybe not 21, because I think we were done making finals in 21 pretty early on. So I don't think we had we probably had them, but like it wasn't the last round. It was like they probably got a lot more games than they were expecting. But yeah, like because this is probably going to be a year where we're not going to make finals. I wouldn't be surprised if they do chuck in a few guys in the last game, maybe give an extra game, the second last game as well. But yeah, no, like I do think that a lot of the like a few of the kids that we have in the VFL, I think that they are going to be good enough. But it's also a thing of if you're not going to play them, they're not going to develop, and they're not going to get better. Like I think Ed Allen is a perfect example, where if you just watch the way that he plays, his demeanor, and I guess in a sense, like the way he was brought up as he was playing his football, like he's very much when the going gets tough, he gets tougher sort of thing. So he's one of those ones where you do sort of throw him in at the deep end, throw him in, play senior footy, and he sort of like thrives. Whereas some may not do that as well. So then you go, okay, you got to take a bit of time with so maybe someone like a Harvey Harrison, for example. Obviously, like he took a little bit of time to obviously get himself to the point where he was playing football, but obviously we know he's going to be good enough to get there one day. But he's a bit more of a slow burn. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure the coaches and stuff have their reasons why they're not playing them and stuff. But it might, like, especially with Allen, I just don't know why he hasn't played at least 20 games by now, because it's just it just really it just staggers me why he hasn't had an opportunity, because he's just that type of player to thrive in the conditions when the going gets tough, sort of thing. Because I mean, I've seen it at training, like when he's in like contests and stuff, you see he's got the trying to think of the word. I'll try and keep it like PG, but he's got a bit of a prick about him, like he's got the prick in him, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Look, I just think with Ed Allen, because we played him as a winger when he came in, right?
Yeah.
Is he normally a winger? Sorry,
So he came in,
right?
Yeah, he came in as a bit more as an outside midfielder. Because when he did his combine, he wasn't elite in everything, but he was pretty much basically the quote unquote athlete guy, where everything, when it came to anything that was an athletic skill, he just like killed it basically. And it was more probably the football talents were still good. I mean, he was a first round pick for a reason, but he was more the athlete rather than the footballer, if that makes any sense. And he was a bit more going into it. There were some reporters saying he is a bit more of a project player as well. So
he still looks like
I
he's got a
highly
little...
disagree about that, but
he's not necessarily tearing the VFL apart. We probably need to see that. Maybe next year's the year we see Ed Allen. He was pick 16 or pick 19 in the draft. So he's a highly touted first-round draft pick. Greatness. We're going to move on because I want to actually chuck on the presser from Darcy Moore. It's a 3-minute presser, so I just want to hear what's going on inside the rooms. And as always, we love having you on, mate, and hopefully we see you next week side by side, right?
Yep, definitely.
All right. Take care, greatness. Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
All right, let's see this champ. What's he got to say? Give me 1 second. I'll chuck it on now. All right. There we go.
Wow. Together for 25 years. Here's some silver to celebrate our silver anniversary. We want to thank our oldest and our most celebrated partner, Emirates.
Here's to more moments, more celebrations, and more success. Together with Emirates.
Darcy, a tough way to end it tonight against really quality opposition. How did you see the game?
Yeah, man, it's pretty heartbreaking, to be honest, for it to finish like that. First 3.5 quarters, there was a lot to like. Very much sort of had control of the game and played the way we wanted to and really took it up to them in the contest and punished them on the scoreboard and defended really well. So there was a lot to like there, but just late they showed why, they've been such a good team and that where they are on the ladder. They showed that late, just key moments. They just really stood up and got over the line.
Talk about there being a lot to like up forward, having guys like Dan McStay and Mason back in the team really provide a lot of structure. And then when the ball went to ground, guys like Bobby and Bo could be really potent. How pleasing is it to see that connection and I guess the pressure around the rest of the ground as well on display?
Yeah, 100%. You're right. Those two.
I don't even want to hear this part, man. Ask the hard questions, man. This is such a cop. But anyways.
The guys, Mason and Dan, have been great, were great for us again tonight. They just, help to really straighten us up. They give us those sort of tough bodies up there, which brings those smalls into the game, like you said, like Lockie Schultz and Bobby and Jamie and stuff. So that was pleasing. Probably, haven't had that band together enough of recent times. So that was pleasing. Yeah, it was a real positive.
It's been a really special couple of weeks for the club. Obviously last week celebrating Pendles and then tonight Jeremy Howe. Talk about Howie. What's it like playing with him and having him down back? He's really heart and soul of the club.
Yeah, 100%. You're right. It's a real pinch yourself moments when you're playing in Pendle's 400th and then Jeremy Howe's 250th. That stuff's, bigger than wins and losses. Really, it's so.
Champ, do you want to keep watching this, or is this just bullshit?
Are they gonna ask him any hard questions? Can you just maybe skip a little bit or put it on 2 times speed?
He just wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's such a selfless teammate, and really bubbly member of the locker room. So and he's been through so much hardship as well with some absolutely horrific injuries over his career. So to make it to 250 and still be playing the footy that he's playing is extraordinary, and so proud of him. And it's a real honour to run out there with him. Shame we couldn't get the result for him, but we'll take the time to definitely.
I'm the interviewer, right? Darcy Moore. It's been a heartbreaking season. You just finished the game. The boys played excellent. You couldn't get the job done. How are you feeling at the moment? Bang. Answer. Respond. Would there be anything you'd like to see, you would have liked to stopped out there on the field? Just ask a little bit of fucking hard questions. I don't give a fuck about the 250, man. You know what I mean? I don't care about McStay and Cox and the fucking band of 3 little midget stooges running around, man. Ask some hard questions. Fuck me.
Now I'm really curious to see if they end up asking any questions.
Remark on that achievement because it's pretty amazing.
And lastly, there's a lot of noise for us. Our army follow us all around the country. What's your message to them? Obviously,
man, mate. Seriously, anyone could fucking interview Darcy Moore. You get paid to fucking hold the mic and be a yes man. Seriously. All right. There's we'll watch more if there's a Craig McRae press conference on the Collingwood channel. Unfortunately, we can't share the AFL screen. I'm pretty sure we'll get a copyright strike, so we can't do that, unfortunately. James, you ready to go, mate? You've been waiting patiently. You ready to go?
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Yeah, he's good to go. All right, I'll add him in. Give me 1 second, James. Let me just correct this.
All good.
1 sec, brother. There we go.
Hey, what's up, fellas?
Pain, man.
Yeah, I hear that. It's just one of those things, isn't it? I kind of got a bit concerned. Pretty much from that Hawthorn game a few weeks back. I'm not a stats kind of a guy. I do a lot of technical work in my professional career, so football's where I come for just enjoyment, so I don't follow the stats too hard. And also having a technical background. I don't think stats fully tell the story. Obviously, don't have enough time to illustrate that right now, but it was just one of those things where I look for like the synergy, and I think that most of us would have noticed, like last year, there was a hunger and there was a connection between all the players, and that's dropped off this year to the point where I'm actually sitting there going, "What's going on with this team?" Like, something. It just feels like something is not right. Like the players aren't connected. I'm not seeing the same look in Bruzz's eyes like I did last year. The performance, as you know, some of it comes down to the way the ball bounces, but I also think strategy wise, I mean, seriously, like, can we please stop doing this? Oh, cool. We've just smashed it for 3 quarters. So we'll just play lock it down now because it's not working. And I think a couple of the people on earlier also mentioned it, where they said the boys need a good spray. Like, I understand that there's kind of a thing nowadays with we're trying to change the image of football. We're trying to make it all, like the way Fly is. I've got Fly's presser queued up here right now. It's on Fox Footy, and I already know what I'm going to get. It's they're going to be, Fly. It's like, oh yeah, but there's a lot of talent out there tonight. Yeah, he's just going to say the same things, and I don't think it's enough to motivate the players. I mean, we don't need to be like shitting on them, but when they're not pulling their weight, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, you might work in different workplaces, but to me, like in the workplace, if someone's not like pulling their weight, you kind of give them a bit of a kick in the ass and go, come on, man, let's do this. I'm not seeing that, man. I haven't seen that for a while. Like, I love my Pies. I watch literally every single game. I have done for years. Last year was the year where I just had confidence like I've never had before. I was at the prelim game against GWS. I watched us actually lock it down for 4 minutes. Everyone around me is freaking out, and I was just like, this is ours. We got this. And that feeling has not been there for me for a large part of the last half of the season. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sort of interested to know too what you guys think about whether that's something that you kind of feel like you're seeing within the team, because I'm not seeing the connection like last year. And times changed, all that kind of thing. But I don't know, something's different about this team this year. I don't feel like we're pulling together in the same way. And I mean, we're certainly not getting the same results. And I really think we need to change up these tactics. I mean, I just don't understand. And another thing I want to throw in there is we get the ball, it's free kick. You've got an open man 20 metres away from you, or you can kick it to congestion. And just about every time we kick it to congestion. Whereas those little chips, if it gets you up the field and gets the goal, why wouldn't you take that option? But yeah, particularly that thing with the synergy thing, I'm sort of interested to know what you guys think.
Yeah, well, one, I'll touch on the chipping up the ground. The perfect example is Frampton. I think maybe in the first quarter could have had IQ short, then try to suck his man in to IQ by kind of making it really obvious. And the Sydney supported player didn't bite. He kicks it, turnover. Just take the fucking easy option. Like, come on. And then if you take that easy option, that player would have gone to IQ. IQ would have chipped it over the back and it would have been the same result. So that's one thing. And with the synergy, there is a little bit of that. It is a lot easier to be up and about when you're winning a lot of games, which we were last year. And it kind of compounds on each week, like, hey, we're doing this. And then it's becomes very visible. And I think the guy, like, let's be real, the boys know this isn't the position they want to be in. So that could be a little bit to do with it. I think losing guys like, Ginny, he's a player that would be really good for, like, camaraderie. You see the way he's connected to the Hawthorn players. You could see last year with interviews.
For sure.
I think losing a guy like him can do a lot to a team synergy. Like guys that talk shit at training, they bring a lot. Like like they're not really switched on the whole time, but they do gel the team together. And I reckon he was probably a really good example of that. And plus that, we're not winning as many games, and the boys are feeling the pressure. Is probably why you're not seeing that same synergy and dare that you saw last year.
Yeah, and good, all of those good points. I don't know, man. I kind of wouldn't be surprised if something kind of spills out of the woodworks over probably the postseason, where it's like, oh, there's issues going on here, potentially even between players. I don't know, man. It's just something like it just seems like almost painfully obvious. But and also I agree with you, like when you mention about the number of wins and losses we've taken this year. There was something in the way we played last year. And then also, let me throw this in. I'm sure this is about the 50th time you've heard this tonight. What about that umpiring tonight? Seriously. Like, I always sit here and watch the game with my missus, and even she was getting worked up about it. Like, we called at least 4 or 5 free kicks. This was one of those games where I'm off the couch, and I'm yelling at the TV. You know, like it doesn't happen too often nowadays. But it was just I couldn't believe some of those. Obviously, the 50 that should have occurred at the end. But I saw a lot of like holding the balls that didn't get called. I was at the game last week for Pendle's 400th. I even saw Pendle's getting kind of wound up about it. You know, like. I mean, the umpiring thing, they're an easy target, but at the same time, I think again one of your guests said before, I'm that kind of person. I'd rather lose a fair game by 4 or 5 goals and go, and I'll admit, I'll be like, yeah, they played really well, they deserve that. But when we're losing over shitty umpiring decisions. Or that are having that much influence.
Yeah, it still matters. It still matters. Minus 11 differential. That's massive. Moments matter. Yeah. You play in the last quarter, James. You're playing in moments, and when the moments go against you, not by your own wrongdoing, but by the umpires, it hurts even more.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, credit to Sydney. I'll give them credit. Like they worked well to kind of to come back. But I'm getting a little bit tired of seeing that look like a rabbit in the headlights, where the opposition's taking the ball, they're running with it, and when the camera pans back to like our players are like kind of standing there like, what happened there? I mean, that's the nature of the game. It's easy to say here from the couch. I know the boys are all putting in the effort. We've had issues with injuries this year, which incidentally I don't think is going to fare well for us next year, particularly since we've got a lot of players who are getting older now, more susceptible to injury. Yeah, I don't know, man. It was disappointing. I actually had us down for a loss for this game. My picks for the year have been actually they're usually pretty good. But then I sat here, watched it. You know, we got up, it was 26 points at one stage, 15 minutes to go. And I just thought, you know what? If we slot one more, I think this is ours. And it just didn't happen. Not one more goal. It all went the other way. I mean, nature of the game, I guess, you know. But, yeah, look, I really would like to see Fly in particular just stand up a bit, you know. Like I think you guys might have actually commented on his presser post I think it might have been the Hawthorn game, and it was just absolute rubbish. Like everything he said, it was just all the words, you know. You get to a point where you know what he's going to say, how he's going to say it. I'm just like, this means nothing, mate. Like it's just not good enough from a premiership team. I mean, we've got that right now, but I don't know, man. It's obviously not happening for us this year. Is it going to happen for us next year? I don't know, man. It's
think-
it's an interesting time to be a Pie supporter, right?
James, Australian culture, mate. We put our balls between our legs, we cross them over, and we hide our opinions to please others. Whereas American sport, NBA, coaches will die on the flag of their team, what happens on a day-to-day basis, and they'll cop the fine. How many fines you see these coaches cop for flying the flag? We don't get it enough, particularly at Collingwood. Anyways, I can't. Chris Scott, Brad Scott, Beveridge, those coaches, they'll fly the flag, but some clubs don't have that in them.
Yeah, and I understand that's that's kind of the way things are going, and I don't totally see that as a bad thing, but I really do think it kind of gets a bit out of balance. If it's all about love, I mean, that's fine. You're uplifting your players, your friends, your community, all that kind of stuff. I'm all for that. But when we're not pulling our weight, something needs to happen. And I don't feel like that's happening, man. Like I say, after I wind up with you boys, I'm ready to sit here and watch this presser from Fly. I'm sure it's probably going to annoy me. I'm sure there are plenty of Collingwood players, Collingwood fans who kind of feel the same. One more thing I wanted to throw at you, because I don't know, maybe you guys could give me some insight into this, and maybe this is one of those stats things. But Lachie Schultz, I don't understand the hatred towards this guy. And sort of going back to what I was just saying, like he's also expressed this year that he had a bit of a tough time with some of the commentary that's going on online. I understand, online. I've been online for a long time. I understand people. It's the internet. People say wild things, right? Wow. But I understand also people can take that personally. I don't think he's that bad of a player at all. I see some good things in some of the young players coming through. Harvey Harrison as well. I see something good there, man. And I mean, I think something that it's easy to kind of miss is if you're a young fella stepping out there for your first, half a dozen or so games, and you're looking over and, you've got Scott Pendlebury over here, and, there's Bryce, and then in your opposition, you've got this and that player. It takes a lot of confidence to really step up, and it takes time to kind of build that. And we need to, I guess this is where it sort of comes from what Fly would say, you need to kind of encourage that. But the hatred, the way people are expressing themselves, I know it's on Instagram at the moment for Lachie Schultz. I don't think that's helpful. And I also don't think he's that bad of a player. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, on Lachie Schultz?
Yeah, I think he comes home with a lot of hatred. I hate him at the moment. I think he could have iced the game today. He missed easy shots in front of goals. He does have big balls with going back with the flight of the ball, and he is quite good defensively as a forward. So he is good in those areas, but I think he cops a lot of hate or expectations as well. He's 27. He's in the prime of his footy career. It comes with a lot of that. And then we gave away our first round pick for him as well, which would have been like a pick 7, I think it was off the top of my head. And then with that comes a lot of expectations. With this draft year being absolutely stacked, we could have got a really good mid as well. And then we would have got Thomas next year and the father, son. So that's probably where the lot of people have this high expectations. Like, well, we've just given away a lot for you.
Yep.
And you're meant to be ready-made. And you should, when you come to a big, like Fremantle's a reasonably big club, but not as big as Collingwood, obviously. West Coast is a bigger club in WA, and it comes with expectations. It's like a player coming from, Jadon Sancho, for example, comes from Dortmund, goes across to Manchester United. I'm not sure how privy you are, and absolutely shits the bed there. But he has high expectations because of his performances out in Germany. Doesn't live up to it, gets asked, right? Same thing with Schultz in this expectation that we've just given a lot up for him, and he hasn't really performed to the way that we wanted him to. He has had good games, though. You can't knock that, but it's not consistent enough.
Yeah.
You got to know. You got to know a couple things with it. Like the context is important. Yes, he's played well, but he's come in for a first-round draft pick. He's come in to keep us relevant at the top of the 3 this year. he's played okay, but if you want to look at the player rating, which is quite a respectable metric, his player rating was nearly at 11 last year. For something to reflect that upon, this year he's at 6. So he's nearly 50% decrease in performance output. What that means is there's a lot of data that goes behind that, but you don't have to look at the data. Like the thing that irks me the most about Schultz right now is sometimes off the ball, he's batshit crazy. Like he'll kill himself for the badge. But what's important as well in these games is what you do with the ball. And he reminds me a bit like Noble sometimes when he has the ball. He panics and there you go, Luke right on cue. Key moments, Schultz panics and fluffs his lines over and over. Will he come good next year? Possibly. But unfortunately, you come in for the then and now to stay relevant now. Is it all Schultz's fault? No. But at some point, you do have to rate every player's season individually to come up with a solution moving forward.
I agree. All good points there. And as Luke's pointed out, Schultz panics, definitely something I've noticed. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I'm definitely not writing him off. I feel like he's got something good to add. Also, someone else who seems to cop it a fair bit is Noble. I mean, I see that guy out there like sprinting his ass off, like week after week after week. Again, stats might tell an interesting story there, but I think he's a good player. He's got heart, he's got drive. He's throwing himself at it. He's breaking through where we need him to break through. So I think some of those young fellas, because that's our future, right? I think that there's something good there. I'm interested to see how we balance out our schedule, sort of moving forward. I mean our roster. I still, obviously hold out hopes for next year, but there definitely needs to be some readjusting, man. Like, some things have got to be readjusted just to kind of, sharpen the sword a little bit, because we're capable of that, and like it'd be great to win a game by like more than one kick. Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's not good for the heart. It's not good for the heart, man. Like watching it with
mate,
the Carlton.
you were telling me. I mean,
he's going, mate, got this in the bag. Like, what are you stressing over? There's like 13 minutes to go. I'm like, just wait, right? He said you got it. He said you got it in the bag. I looked at him. I said, why the F did you say that? You jinxed us. Like, and then what happened? I said to him, we jumped in the car, go back to the pub. I said, we're not listening to the radio. We're not listening to anything. We're driving in silence all the way back to my house.
Man. I hear you. It's like footy for me is one of those things where I'm a pretty quiet, kind of composed person in my workplace, but I'll get fired up about my footy. Footy is something that I'll watch it by myself because people, oh geez, you're up and you're moving. Why are you yelling like that?
Yeah,
it's football. I love it. That's my team, black and white. Like that's how I roll. That's how I've always rolled. That's how I always will roll. It is what it is. But yeah, like I said, disappointing loss tonight. Really disappointing loss. I don't know. We'll just have to see where it goes for the next couple of games. Going to be interesting. But obviously now I'm sort of more setting my sights on next year. In the hope
so far away, so far away.
Yep, I hear. But I think I think most of the people that you've had on tonight can see that there's still something good there. There's still something that we can build upon. But I really do think, as I go back to what I initially said, something's up in the mix there somewhere, and I wouldn't be surprised if something spills out of that postseason. But I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong. That's just what I see.
All right, James. Thanks for coming on. I think this is your first time. Hopefully we get you on a few more times before the season ends, mate. And
for sure.
Well said. Everything you mentioned, all some great food for thought.
All right,
Yeah,
nice
great
one,
job.
fellas. Appreciate what you're doing and love your work.
Take it easy,
Thanks,
brother.
Shane. Too easy.
Peace.
What a man. James Andrew, welcome to the Pies Footy community. All right.
That's a good topic there, champs.
Yeah,
Thoroughly enjoyed that
100%.
one.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Final three, we got Luke and Alex and Nick. Guys, we're going to get to you. We're going to smack these out. Caleb's got a big game tomorrow, so we're going to make sure sleep is of its from the
It's
top
of the
shelf
essence,
tonight,
man.
champs.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, you ready, brother? Yeah, let's go. All right. Talk to me, Nick.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, all good.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm very new to social media stuff.
Welcome, welcome.
But but yeah, the game. Yeah, I'm really lost for words giving up that lead, like 5 goals. And one thing I can't really wrap my head around now these days is like ever since Hawthorn and their back-to-back premierships, every single premier seems to have that exact same type of premiership hangover that they keep on talking about. So like every single year after that, I'm expecting really high expectations from the next premiers, and then they just really let us down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So-
I mean, Richmond had a bit of a dynasty, but outside of that, teams are likely to have a hangover. But it's painful, isn't it?
Yeah, so like I just can't. So I just like like Melbourne. I mean like Richmond and Melbourne and so on and so forth. They just always had So going into this season, I didn't really. I heard a lot of Collingwood supporters saying like that like we're gonna go to back as a Collingwood supporter, but I was already like, oh yeah, I don't know about that, but we're gonna have to work our asses off because I had a feeling that this would happen. And this season really gives me like 2016 or 17 type of vibes. You know what I mean? It's just like we go so close to the end, and then we just can't make it. And then as soon as we came very close at the SCG, it really gave me Nathan Buckley type of vibes. We only just won there when Hoskinau kicked that goal, but yeah, but still Sidebottom, man. Oh, you really got to give him credit to that. Really keeping what is his
It
name?
was unreal.
Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon.
Like that. I can't remember. But yeah, that's one of the positives of the games. But one of the negatives was like some of our it's just I don't know what's going on with us. Just like ever since the start of the season when the coaches had change of roles, it's just I don't know, it just had a really weird feeling to it. And Lockie Shields, I agree with what everybody's saying that he's copping a lot of hate, but I do kind of agree in some areas that we gave up a lot for him, and he's not really giving what we expected from him. But no, he's really strong in some areas what he does. But I think the positivity of this season, because of all the injuries, the positivity of all this is that we've seen a lot. I mean, a lot of our youth. So now next season we know what to expect from our youth, like Lucky Sullivan and Net Long and all that. So so for all the rest of the Magpie Army, I know it's a very hard moment now that our season's over, but now we had a little taste of our youth and depth. And going forward, I'm pretty sure Oscar Steen and Big Roo will be up next to take that Darcy Cameron and Mason Cox as well. And I'm pretty sure that Aiden Begg isn't really going to be going in there either. So we're going to be having a few drops, and I'm making these calls. I'm making these calls before it happens. 2021 mid season draftees are going to get delisted, like the likes of Aiden Begg, because he just can't get in. Ash Johnson definitely is going to get delisted.
Yep.
And I've already forgotten some others, but those are the two ones that really comes into mind because yeah, I just don't know. But yes, it'd be very interesting at the end of this season to see what we do. What do you guys think? What are the Pies at now? because I've been saying that in my head for like ever since the first opening round seasons when we just started off at 3-0. So what do you guys think? Where are we at?
Where we at, champs?
Look, we just need to. It's hard with an aging list. We're just going to manage them on the way out. You know, you can't let them all leave at the same time. And then, like you're saying, your shout with some of the VFL players, I do agree. Beg and AJ get delisted. Probably not get picked up again. AJ, maybe I still got a soft spot for him because of his performances. Like, you know, when he first came on the scene, but he's way too streaky and he lacks confidence and seems like a bit of a sook, if I want to put it bluntly, without being too PG about it. But look, we just need to. We're in a weird stage where we've got an older list. Hopefully, we can move some trades around and pick someone good up in the draft, and we see how we go from there. Really.
So, what do you think in the draft? What do we go for? Because a key forward, a key backman, a mid. I mean, I've been looking through the Phantom draft like weekly lately to see what the hell we're going to pick up, because I'm that type of person that likes to see where, okay, Collingwood is not doing too great. Okay, and what are we going to get? You know, what are we looking for?
We've got a couple options. The fortunate thing is, and it tends to save us a lot being Collingwood, is the father-son selections. Obviously, Darcy Moore, the Dacos brothers, and then we got Thomas McGuire, not this year, but the year after as well, which will keep us somewhat relevant, hopefully, if McGuire is said to be as good as people will make him out to be. But we've done a couple of podcasts with a draft expert. Dylan follows draft. So if you want to go have a look at those, I honestly can't remember off the top of my head, champs, who we were looking at, because it's always a rolling. It's a rolling.
Yeah, it's changing each week with the draft. Yeah. So the information that we had probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago, it's probably changing. But we had a couple of key forwards that had dropped down that were prior top 10 picks at the start of the season, because of the mids have been playing really good, so they've pushed it up. So maybe we pick up a young key forward. If not, maybe we probably need a rebounding back. But that being said, Josh Dacos has been playing that role the last 2 weeks, which we were calling for before the podcast and quite early on this year when we noticed our rebounding 50s were lacking. So maybe we don't need a rebounding back. But look, man, I just think you take whatever's best available for you. And just go from there. Whether that be, I'd like to see a good key forward come our way, though.
Yeah, that's true. And for all the Collingwood supporters watching now, all I can say, and this is something I really got to get off my chest, is that just remember last year we won. We only just came back off a premiership, right? So all the frustration, hatred towards Fly. All I could say is that, like, probably just cut him a bit of slack. I mean, he just gave us a premiership, you know, and probably just, you know, just let maybe just this season is just not our season. So maybe we'll be like Geelong and you know, just get over this premiership hangover and come back with some bloody with some Maccas and all that, get the cure for that damn hangover and bloody come back, and then we go, okay, yeah, this is like a brand new one of us, you know. But over and all, I was really hoping that Colin would have gotten Mitch Edwards and something like that, because a lot of YouTubers were going on about him, and then as soon as you have your hopes up for a key or a ruck or something, Colin just keeps on picking up the mids and all that.
Well, Nick, for a first timer who said he's never put himself out in social media, mate, you're very well spoken. You should do this more often, and you've got just a place to do that moving forward. So hopefully we see you next week and the week after to finish the year.
In social media, I'm all shady. I'm a bit to get them.
Hey, very well spoken, mate. Nick, love your work. The message is stick fat, and we'll see better days eventually. We've got the flag. We'll look forward to better days, right?
Just throw this one behind us a bit and learn from the season. Just, you know, just have hope, Magpie Army, and just remember, we only just came back off a flag. We got some rebuilding to. Well, not rebuilding to do, but some areas to fix up on. And I heard that you have a game to do tomorrow. I'm just recovering from a concussion. I did like a concussion, so that's not fun for me. I have to wait. almost over. So I'm basically on very similar to Dan McStay, what he was on just before the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
And my
good.
grand finals in a couple of weeks' time, and I'm not too sure when I'm going to be back. So that's what's
Well,
going for me.
speedy
right now.
recovery, Nick. Great first time caller. Pleasure having you on, and yeah, hopefully I get the dub tomorrow. But appreciate you jumping on, mate.
Yep. Good luck, mate. Good luck. Get out there. Take all the rage out from this game and onto the field. That's the thing
Cheers,
I do.
mate.
Please, dude.
Yeah.
I take that anger on the field, man.
Too easy, Nick. Laters. Champ, you want to bring the next person? Stefanos, DC in the defensive rotation. No, he's a little bit too slow for that if he was to play Keith back. What makes him really good is his work rate to push back as the ruck and play that extra role and read the ball there. So that's what makes him a really good defensive number one marking ruckman in the league, because he's coming back down as a 7th man. So leave it at that. We'll get another key back or keep persevering with the stock that we currently have. Champ, you want to throw up the next person?
All right, Alex, my man. You ready, bro? He's ready.
Can you hear me?
He's ready.
Yeah, bro.
Yep.
How you going?
Oh, boys. It's like Freo reincarnated. It's like every game we've seen this year. Boys.
No good, huh?
I watched Fly's press conference again. It's like you said it. You guys have said it. Like he doesn't put his foot down on these players. I don't feel like.
What did he say?
Oh, he's like, you fall off the bike and like you get up, and it's like that same shit. Oh, you wouldn't know if we won or lost. I'm like, mate, put the fucking boys in the firing line. Put some of these Lipinski, mate. All right. Kick that snag. Well done. Where the fuck has he been in the past, past year? And people are telling me this guy, he's list worthy. We just signed him to a 5-year deal. 5-year deal or something ridiculous like that. And I'm looking at all these other players, and I don't like to look in the past too much, but you got players like Treloar that we let go, dominating at the Dogs. He would have been great. He could still do a job for the Pies now. Our list is getting so old. Like you got fucking Cox at 33, you got Pendle's 36, Howie 34, Sidey's 33. I mean, Treloar's only 30, 31, still doing the business. There's just like there's players that are in this team that aren't like cut out for it. And tonight, when it came to, last year we were good at like the close ones. We, even with like 5 minutes to go, 2 points up, whatever, holding that position down. It's just like this year, it's a mentality thing. There's too many weak minds in this team that don't know their responsibilities, that don't know that when shit hits the fan, and it always starts with like 1 or 2 goals. All right, 1 or 2 goals, change it up a bit. I was actually saying maybe put Howe in the forward line when we're actually up, instead of when we're actually, behind. Put Howe in the forward line, change it up a bit. Get a mark, get a goal, get us to at least like 30 odd points. But like,
I thought Luke Parker had a really good role on Jeremy Howe, particularly in the first half, by the way. I don't know if that was incidental, but he gave him a bit of grief. That's for sure.
Oh, he did. Parker, yeah, of course. Parker as well. Sidey kept Goulden a bit quiet until like the last quarter.
Yeah.
But it's this team's like, I feel like it's obviously like they've just thrown shit together and tried to make it work, and it's not worked. And you can come up with excuses like, injuries and all this bullshit. But that's why, and I know people are going to like ask, like say the thing that's going to be a rebuttal, but letting Adams go as well, like making players feel value. I know people are like, Adams might have like, jumped ship because he didn't see another premiership, but he's probably testing the selection panel. He's testing the coach because he wants to feel valued, and he didn't feel valued. I feel like even though he had a shit game tonight, Adams was still quality for us coming like last year, running up into the finals and winning that fucking flag. Like players like that we're missing. Like Adams gets down and dirty. And obviously, you know, Mitchell's out for the whole season and Mitchell was supposed to be that player. But there's just not enough of those players. And you got like Ned Long, great game. He stepped in. But like when shit hits the fan and you see it over and over again with like the Freo game, the Dogs game, what other all a bunch of like so many games were just thrown away. Like we could have been in the mix if we just like had that stable group, just a stable group. And you're going to see now in the off season, like there's going to be so many question marks because they're talking about Pendles and, you know, Sardi and how, like, what are they going to do if, I know Pendles is signed on, but what are they going to do with like players like that? Like,
yeah, they got to stagger the retirements, but it doesn't seem like it. They seem like they're all wanting to sign 1-year deals. And like I said earlier in the pre-game show, I'm not sure if you're there, but if I've got a gun and I'm looking at Howe, I'm looking at Sardi, I'm looking at Pendles, and I'm looking at
maybe
Hitch, I guess.
Throw him in there as well.
Coxie as well, throw him in there. Unfortunately, I'm shooting Sardi at the moment, even though he had a brilliant game today. It's like 1 every 4, and like there's 3 games where he's not playing good. He's getting exposed. So, and if you're gonna have to stagger it, and you don't want to pull a North Melbourne, and like they did back in 2017, then we're gonna start staggering these older guys. Going, hey man, you've done a great service with us, but hey, it's time to ride off the sunset.
You got to be ruthless. You've got to be ruthless, and unfortunately. And the club likes to celebrate a lot, celebrate different things. Like it's great celebrating, you know, all that bullshit. But there's just got to be a time when you got to put the foot down and just fucking like be ruthless and say, listen, we got to move on from, you know, fuck the sentiment, mate. Be ruthless. Yeah, I'm not like be ruthless like you have been with, like all these other players that we, you know, I actually want. Mate, right. Would you take Ginnivan over Schultz right now? Because that's our replacement, Schultz, for Ginnivan.
Yeah, well, it's hard when Ginny comes in and plays a fucking absolute pearler as him. I've got a soft spot for him, champ. You maybe got an opposition view here?
No, I think we wouldn't have to have given up anything to keep Ginnivan, whereas to get Schultz, we had to give up a first-round pick.
But Schultz is a direct sort of replacement when you think of it in Ginnivan's position. In that position. Like small forward, gets down. Ginnivan, he's so smart. He's actually so smart when he played a role last year in the finals. I don't even think he played in his actual position. Like, I'm not sure. He didn't play his actual position. He was actually in the midfield sometimes. He's in and around the mix.
Quite high up. Even this year, Alex, like for Hawthorn, he'll always play like as a +1 in the midfield stoppages as well. They are different in a sense. Skinny can't apply the same pressure as Schultz, but in the end, hindsight is 2020. But if we look at it right now, we didn't have to give up anything to keep Guinea. To get Schultz, we had to give up a lot. That's the fine line.
Yeah. Well, our season's down the shitter.
Hey, at least we won the flag, right? We got the flag.
Nah, fuck that off, man. I don't care. Like it was nice last year.
I'm with fucking the first caller. Who was it, Manny?
Yeah.
I love Manny. He just says it how it is, and and like fucking hell, like it's just a waste of it's wasted, mate. It's just wasted. Like because you see, and you know. Those first 3 games of the season, whatever, like, fuck, just absolute fuckery from the Pies. But then you saw it coming back a bit, and then somewhere, you know, I think it was like the draws didn't help, and then you got the fucking wasted game against the Dogs, and then you got the Gold Coast trip. off the bye when the players like came back and they thought they were like big bollocks because they beat North Melbourne. Like, shouldn't be in those positions in the first place. Like,
we do say all this, and then we are the number one side in the league this year for most games missed through injury. So when we look back at this, we're gonna have to write a fucking whole book on this season because so much went wrong for us.
that is true. That is true. Like, injuries don't help.
Nah, but Alex, mate, we're gonna keep it rolling. My eyes are shutting.
Yeah,
we've got two more left. Al, appreciate you also coming up in the streets of the Neags to say good day. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, mate. Exactly, mate. You guys take care, yeah? Have a good night.
Take it easy, brother.
Cheers, mate.
See ya.
All right, Lukey, you ready? We'll get Luke in. I don't think Luke's actually dialed in before. Did you speak to him last week, Champ?
Luke, long-time viewer, first time on the fan cams.
G'day, guys.
There he is.
Here he is.
How's it going? Wow.
Shit.
You know, like that was a fucking gutting loss tonight. Wow. Holy shit. You guys might not remember the 1994 when West Coast knocked us off.
No.
It was elimination final. Mickey McGuan dropped a mark 30 meters out. And the siren rang about 3 seconds later, and Johnny Worsfold just gave it to him. The scenes were Tony Shaw's last game. And Nathan Buckley gave Tony Shaw his jacket, Tony Shaw was in tears. And it's one of my most. It felt like an elimination final. That's how it felt tonight. It was just fucking shit. But I got a lot of stuff. I know you guys want to get to bed. I got a lot of stuff I want to cover. I'll try and pick and choose it so you guys can have some shut eye.
No, let it rip. Let it rip.
Because holy shit, 2024, we've fucking botched it, right? Because how far are we from top four, practically speaking? What, 2 games? 3 games?
It's close. It's so close. Yeah.
Okay, we should have won both of the draws. There's 2. Okay, now we talk Bulldogs. Like the media agenda is, and it's been on this show tonight. The media agenda for 2024: injuries and players are too old. Agreed? Yeah. Okay.
Agreed.
What we're not going to hear, because he's such a darling of the media, and he talks like Bill Clinton in the media as a politician, it's the coach. Now, I'm sorry, I'm going to go hard on him because he has got to take accountability and responsibility. Now, what I see in Fly is like a Brendan. Remember when Brendan McCartney came into the Bulldogs before Bevo came in, and he was that cuddling the players, softy guy, and he set the Bulldogs up for when a hard-hitting guy like Bevo came in, within 2 years had a premiership. I think Fly's that type of guy. And I used to get my back up in the last couple of years when the media and all the Pies haters used to say, we got lucky. We got lucky. We won all these close games and we got lucky. When you think about it, for 2 years, nearly 3 years, we've been playing one quarter. Haven't we?
Yeah. No, we haven't been able to string fucking 4 quarters together, because if we could string 4 quarters together, we wouldn't always going down to the wire in most games.
And someone said before in the chat that the Y gen, the X gens, you can't give them a spray. You cannot tell me that Chris Scott doesn't give his certain people a spray, maybe in private every now and then. Fagan would give people a spray. Kenny Hinkley would give people a spray. Now, I 100%, you're going to be 90% love, but sometimes someone needs to kick up the ass. So how many games do you think we've lost because of selection, accountability at selection, in-game strategy, not making moves?
We've certainly highlighted that quite a few times, right, Luke? Like, particularly when we had foreseen changes probably around round 13, 14, 15, and we didn't see those changes happen until the last few rounds, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, One is Kruger,
unbelievable.
for example, calling for Kruger to come in, doesn't come in for Western Bulldogs, kicks 3 that night on the VFL, comes in, does pretty good in his first few games in VFL. Then we also seen the lack of Darcy Moore to move him around, and also the Josh Dacos onto the half-back line because we can't rebound the fucking ball. So those are just a few. I'm sure there's a couple more in there, champs, that we've shouted out about. But
just quick shout out to Luke Smith as well. Pluck the world, go Pies, and that's all that matters at the end of the day. Thanks to donation, go Pies. Like, we'll have our sook tonight, but we'll move on tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do. It's just I just wish Fly was a bit more proactive this year. Maybe he takes the learnings from it. I don't know, Luke.
Well, he better quickly, because do you remember we had 8 we had an 8-game not winning streak, but we didn't lose a game. We had 5 or 6 wins and 2 draws. Do you remember the first game that broke that, which brought us into that losing streak? Do you remember which game it was?
Gold Coast.
Gold Coast. Right. So the mainstream narrative, the Collingwood hater narrative, is that we had too many injuries. We had the most of our injuries during that period. Before Gold Coast, wholesale changes. All of the older players came back in.
6
and
changes.
then the rut start. Yeah. Yep. So when you've got a situation when someone like Lipper, who was the sub last week, who did nothing as a sub, let's give him a whole game to give him a chance to do nothing for the whole game. And do you know at what stage they brought Richards into the game?
30 seconds.
What the fuck is going on?
I would tell the coach to get fucked. Honestly, put me in 30 seconds to go.
I was like WhatsApping my old man, going like, get Lipper off, fucking send Lipper down to Oxford Street, right, and get Richards on now. Fly's coaching has cost us, to be fair, 3 games, maybe 6 games. Fucking awful. People are getting triggered. I know they're getting triggered, but for fuck's sake.
No. This is what we're here for. But we said it in. Where did we say it?
Pre-game.
He listens. I'm sure they listen. They listen to your podcast, and 3 weeks later they take your advice, motherfuckers.
But I was saying Richards need to come in and start. Like
Richards is a playmaker.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: you mentioned Darcy Moore before, right? And I know why that it's going to embarrass the club if they drop him, okay? And I was getting all, he needs to be dropped. Right? If he was anyone else, he would have been dropped, but he's a captain, okay? But Anthony and you boys said play him forward. I was all for that because he can't fuck up when he's forward. He'll probably kick 2 or 3 goals. Why don't they try that, right? So you've got your captain coming out, and every week I'd see this. He's spraying F this and F that, spraying the whole team, and then goes out and plays poorly. What does that do for team morale? And then, fucking hell, right? And then you've got all these other people who are getting a game because of their reputation and their experience. What does that do for selection integrity? It's like, fuck me. Jesus. All right.
It hurts, mate. It hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. Yeah. What can you do?
Positives?
Talk to me about Darcy Cameron.
Darcy Cameron. Okay, here's how we use Darcy Cameron. What's Mason Cox's strengths as a ruckman? What's his main strength?
Get outs.
Okay, so what you do, every single fucking center square, you have Darcy. You have Darcy down forward, and you have Mason Cox in the center square. And then Mason floats down forward. Darcy's great around the ground. Great at his intercept marking. He gave Grundy a bath around the ground. Fantastic. But Coxie needs to do more center square. I mean, he won us the grand final with that last play with his tap to Pendles, and we all know the rest. So I'd have Coxie in the middle, more in the square. But Darcy is
Darcy
just a
Cameron
gun around the ground.
Still 7
Cameron's a gun around
clearances.
the ground.
Darcy Cameron. He gave
Well,
Grundy a bar.
He does, and he gets a lot of his own ball as well. I've got to give him credit for that.
A bath, an absolute bath, old mate Grundy, didn't he?
Can you guys bit before your time, but in an old day when Darcy Moore's old man Peter Moore, the ruckman, I know they can't do it now because they've got that circle they've got to start against. But why don't ruckmen, especially tall guys like Cox, try and jump up? Why are they always wrestling? Why can't they use their height and put their knee into them and tap it down?
A lot of ruckman champs, correct me if I'm wrong. Some ruckmen will have a shorter starting position to negate that as well. So that they'll be closer to the middle of the where the bounce is and actually stop the player from being able to jump and use their height. That's one way people counter it. Grundy did that against Gawn in the first game of the season really well.
Yeah, he guarded the space, didn't he? And Gordon couldn't deal with it. And they'd obviously done a lot of sparring and training. And Grundy would have had some motivation, clearly.
And Coxie did play some parts late in this game in the middle, and it didn't seem to change too much, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, he hasn't had much of a run in there in recent weeks, has he? Because he's been out of the side. And
loved his game,
but yeah, Coxie was a positive. Yeah, Coxie was a positive tonight, though. Took some big marks and presented.
Yeah, Long Cox was good as well, huh?
What did you say? Long and Cox, very good.
Yeah, Long and Cox were both good today for us. And then look, Quaino actually, like, some people didn't like his game. I actually thought he was pretty good when he was out on the wing. Gave us a little bit of something, and he actually comes across quite well as a help side winger because he's defensively minded, being a traditional halfback flanker. So I thought it was probably one of his better games in recent memories. What are your thoughts there, Luke, on IQ?
Yeah, he was. I'm glad he played a much better game. He's been averaging about 8 touches a game, and so it was good. He was a lot better tonight. I think he read a few of my posts online and fired him up. And I think I mentioned that he's not playing well because his boyfriend's playing for Hawthorn, and I think that got him going. But I'll certainly say that our turning point, the turning point this year, was before that Suns game. We should have bled a few. Yeah, we should have not dropped so many players and just eased a few players back in, and that was the start of the rut. We should have kept mostly an unchanged side because we've been playing well. You don't have wholesale changes when you're winning. Like, when does that ever happen? And that was when the slide started.
You also got to bring.
I think you mentioned that, Anthony, as well. I think I remember you mentioning that that's a lot of changes.
Yeah, it's 6 changes. It's a lot, for sure. For sure. And nearly bit Sydney in the arse. They had 4 changes today, and it took them to the last quarter to get their gears right. But I'll tell you something: if Sydney, that last quarter, the way Sydney played is how they've been playing. They played their first 15 games, and if they play every game like that moving forward, they're going to win the flag. Let's call that for what that was as well, right?
I think you know how we there's clubs that sell games interstate and might sell one to China or whatever. What sides are going to do is they're going to have a wild card situation where at any time in the season they can pay for a game against Collingwood to bring them back into form. It's just like it's called the grand final card. They can just go, fuck, we just lost by 120 points. How can we get out of this form slump? Let's pay for a Collingwood game.
Tough. Luke, you got anything to finish us off with? You got one more person. Bedtime's calling.
Positives. Richard, Harrison, Long tonight. And I think they'll start to play. Reefmore, Allen, and Smith will get a game. And it's probably in a. I hate to say it, it's probably good we lost. We're going to lose eventually and get the new guys in and set up for next year. Thanks a lot, guys, for what you've done this year. It's been great. We really enjoyed it.
Thanks for your
Keep
support.
Keep up with your work. No worries, buddy. Thanks, guys.
Too easy, mate.
All right,
Good
last
on, man. First time dialing. It was always in the comments as well. But Dan, We've got the last one, lucky last. You
How
here,
old
mate?
Liz?
Yeah. Been better.
That's
a lot
vibe,
better.
isn't it?
Yeah.
That's relatable.
Missed that guy. Missed that guy in your DP though tonight. Tell you that much.
That's right. We were. That's why I put him up, just in memoriam.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit of a rip, that one. But no. Look, I think I've been analysing the games, not really analysing, but just watching the games over the last couple of weeks, and there's a couple of things I've picked up from our games this year versus in previous years. This year, specifically, we have a lot of structural problems that have really arisen due to our injury list, right? A couple of injuries like Nathan Murphy, that happening during the grand final last year has really exposed a lot of holes in our team, like, for example, our defence. Now, I think that got exposed over the last couple of weeks. However, I think the good thing that I saw from today's game was that our defence looked a lot stronger. So it seems that our defence is doing a lot better than it was in previous weeks.
Do you know why?
That was really good to see. The other good thing to see was that our clearances were a lot better than what they've been in previous weeks. So I thought that, let's start with the positives. Those two things were really positive, and it was really good to see. I think it's also really important that we acknowledge that while other teams have experienced similar injury lists to what we've had, they haven't experienced it 3 years running like we have. So we've had pretty much whole team wipes for the last 3 years. And largely our draftees have bailed us out. Like, say, for example, Isaac Quaynor in 2022 pretty much single-handedly willed our team back into form, gave our team morality, and because of that, he got an All-Australian for it. So having players like that coming into the team is what saved us in the last couple of years. We've had good quality draft picks, but we haven't had the quality that we've had in the last couple of years, and they haven't been the draft picks that we've needed. For example, having a key forward and having someone replace Nathan Murphy, and then having an in and out midfielder that's able to replace the old blokes, in the midfield for the clearances. Jordan De Goey, he's a real in and out midfielder. He gets really into the contests and really bursts through the packs. I saw that happening a lot with Sydney tonight, that they had that. We lacked a bit of that. But what we did have was pressure, and I really like that we had pressure. But look, I'll keep this short and sweet. Basically, there's been a couple of really glaringly obvious issues that I've picked up over the last couple of weeks. Firstly, our clearances and our defence, which was really improved tonight. Secondly, our pressure's been really down the last couple of weeks, but it was quite good tonight, which I thought was really, really positive.
Is that the Bo McCreary effect?
Maybe. Could be. He's another one of those, midfielders who just absolutely gut runs every time. Like, his big thing is chasing down opposition players, doing those big rundown tackles. But the other thing that I wanted to highlight was that Fly's been making some really questionable decisions. And I did say I said this in a previous post-matcher that I believed heavily in his ability to make decisions, but he's making some really questionable calls. For example, against Essendon, he didn't put a tag on Zach Merritt, which meant he basically ran right in the last quarter. During this game, he didn't put a tag on Heaney or Warner, and they ran riots. Like, I'm sorry, but that's unforgivable for a coach to not see the talent on the field on Sydney's part and not to prepare for that. Like, it's just unforgivable. So I don't know what is going through his head regarding that, but you can't allow those players to run riot.
I think while they did run right, I did think that the umpires really didn't help tonight, and I don't like blaming our losses on the umpires, but I did think that tonight there were several very, very questionable decisions made by the umpires. Like, for example, the Mason Cox out of bounds, deliberate out of bounds was an absolute joke. Dan McStay, the 50-metre penalty was an absolute joke. Those were two pretty critical moments in the game. So the Mason Cox deliberate out of bounds actually resulted in a goal, which I think put them within 2 goals margin. And then the Dan McStay goal prevented us from getting a goal, which would have shifted the momentum back into our direction. So I thought that those were two decisions that were just absolutely criminal, to be honest. Like, I don't know how these umpires can make these decisions and go home and think, yeah, I've done a good job today. Like, it was just absolutely disgusting how they're getting paid big bucks, yet they're making these really obvious blunders. But
yeah, I think the thing there is, like, it's a new week. What are the umpires cracking down on this week? It's probably going to be the deliberate out of bounds. You know, it's 1 week it's going to be the, you know, how they ruckman shepherd out of the contest or the holding the ball. They seem to be cracking down on things each week. I do agree. Well, I would say the Mason Cox one has more merit of, I can see it being paid against him. He did paddle the ball towards the boundary. However,
but he did that several times during the game.
Yeah,
like, you're allowed to hit it. A lot of these players would hit it out, and that was fine. They would push the ball out with their hand. But if it would hit their foot and then go out, then it would be called deliberate. So that's kind of what I saw, was that if you hit it out with your hand and you tap it out, even though you could have really kept it in, they're not going to call that. But if you kick it out, if it hits your foot and goes out, like what happened with Jack Beitel, then it's deliberate. But anyway, that's how I see that.
Yeah. But that very next play, Dan, is the next we get 2 deliberate out of bounds, and the Darcy Moore one where he then dives at the footy and tries to keep it in, and I believe he tries to tap it to Darcy Cameron. And then from there they rebound the ball in. So we had 2 right against each other. So the Coxie one, look, it's very stiff, but I can see it being paid. But the Darcy Moore one not is being paid is outrageous, because he was actually trying to keep it in and try to hit the Darcy Cameron, and then we were out. And then they go in and score from that, which that is like that. I punched the table at the I full fisted the table at the pub. I looked like an idiot. But then and then the other one with McStay taking the mark, 30 seconds to go, the guy runs fucking 15 meters over the ball. That's tough. That you'd think they'd get paid. It just gets missed. Unfortunately, that fucks us. Should have been a 50. But what we were saying with Manny is, yes, those 2 calls are absolutely shit. Even if you want to throw in the Coxie one, which I can see merit there. You can call in those 3 calls. It's still the fact that we were 27 points up, 26 points up, and it got to the point where we had to rely on these calls there. We should have just fucking buried them. We should have kept playing the same way we're playing and not go defensive, and then we wouldn't be in this situation. Unfortunately, it played out how it is. We left it in that the umpires could really fuck us in the arse, and my God, they bent us over, and here we are in the situation, not playing finals, and I can't walk for the next week.
That's right. Yeah, they really are assisted. Yeah, look, I see where you're coming from. How I'd respond to that is that footy is a game of momentum, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sydney's going to get a few goals back, but when our momentum starts with Dan McStay, and that's not paid a 50.
That would have iced the game. He's going back.
That was the momentum swinging back in our favor, right? And when you're going to make critical decisions like that stem momentum for teams, I think that's really poor. Look, I don't like using the umps as a reason for why we lost. I agree. Like, we really shouldn't have blown a 4-5 goal lead, right? That being said, I think it does need to be stated that, like, this really doesn't help. And I think that I posted on one of the AFL's posts, I left a comment saying, petition to have a royal commission into the AFL umpiring. Because I think it's just been shocking.
That's a great shout. That's not a shout. I like that a lot. Have an independent party to go fucking assess.
That's right. Yeah, get a watchdog.
Yeah, because mate, it's like your boss, right? You mess up at work, and then your boss is reporting to another boss. He's not going to go in there and be like, "Yeah, no, we fucked up." Like, you just got to go keep it undercover, right?
You get put on a performance plan if you do what they're doing. I mean, you get the performance plan treatment where they try and fire you. Like, it's just, I mean, look, if the umpires were making like really line ball decisions, like the Mason Cox one, okay, sure, we can let that. That's water under the bridge. It's line ball. It's a bit stiff. But the Darcy Moore stuff, it's just like,
that was.
Yeah. In the words of BT, this is an all-time low for umpiring. I'm not sure if you guys saw that clip where the bloke, barrels it down the field and it bounces it at a 90-degree angle, and then the umpire calls it deliberate out of bounds. Yeah, that deserved the BT treatment of, this is just an all-time low for umpires. But look, that's really what I had to say tonight. It's just, I think these structural issues structural issues really caused by all the injuries in our team really have been largely solved. I think that our clearance games really worked out quite nicely, and our defence has really gotten a lot better. Darcy Moore's really lifted his game, which is really nice to see. Q as well played a decent game. He's not at the level that he was last year, but he's still playing. He's playing a lot better than how he's been playing the last couple of weeks. Billy Frampton, I still dislike that bloke. I don't know. I just don't think he's at the caliber of Collingwood. But anyway, whatever. That's all right. But I think the problems now are our old players, the new draftees. The draftees are interesting because they're not quite at the level that they were in the past. But, I mean, they're good. You've got, I think people like Lachie Schultz, he's okay. He's not really what we need. He's sort of as a replacement for Guinea, but not really. But he also doesn't really fill in any of our holes in the team, right? Like, he's not a key forward. He's not a replacement for Nathan Murphy. He's not in and out. He just takes marks and then misses shots directly in front of goal. So I really don't see what people see in him. But, hey, apparently he's earned a spot on the side. So,
yeah. Love it, Dan. Look, my brain's cooked. Champs is cooked. Right. I'm pretty sure. I don't even think. I think that's a cardboard cutout right now. Yeah, but checked out. What a good couple good points. A couple good points. The main takeaway from our conversation, Dan, is we need a royal commission for our umpire, independent board to assess.
We do. Get Elbow to sponsor that one.
Oh, fucking no. Anyway. Too easy, Dan. Cheers for jumping on. We're going to wrap it up here. Appreciate it. Hopefully join us again next week.
100%, boys. See you later. Have a good one.
Too easy, mate. All right, champs. Here we are. A mammoth 2.5 hours. Fucking it's only 11 p.m. in Perth right now. Brain is still a little bit fried, but man, heartbreak. We wanted to win, didn't get a win. Here we are. Sun will rise tomorrow, boys. Life will go on. We'll watch Collingwood hopefully win next week. Tune in again as well on Monday, guys. We'll rate every single Pies player on Monday night, 6 p.m. It'll be good. We'll talk about the good. We'll talk about the bad. We'll talk about the ugly. We'll do the People's Champ Award. And we will also rate Fly McRae's performance as well, boys and girls, or girl, if there's any. But, champs, any final words, or we're off to bed? Galanita there.
Galanita.
Huh? Galanita, boys. Too easy. Cheers, guys.